Welcome to DAX Machina, with your hosts, Naomi Finn, Steve Wildman Monrotis, and D.A. Roberts. Join us as we explore writing, books, authors, and all things horror. We will delve into the sightings, reports, encounters, and tales of monsters. We will also explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with others in the horror genre. We will investigate the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of books. They might just walk among us even now. Grab some popcorn and lock the doors. It's going to be a creepy journey. Welcome to DAX Machina.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of DAX Machina. Joining me, as usual, is my partner in crime on Wednesday nights, Naomi Finn, and Carrie Pocket Doc Davis from Dark Angel Medical, my brother.
Hey,
brother from another mother is joining us tonight. How y'all doing?
Just this side of wonderful.
Yeah. If I was any
Well,
better, I couldn't stand myself.
I hear you. Doing any better, I'd be twins.
That's right.
Is any better? I couldn't stand you either.
Clearly, you've talked to my wife.
Uh-huh.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody, and everybody that's listening. I hope you guys are going to have a wonderful holiday this week, and we're pretty excited. And I don't exactly have big plans, but we're just going to spend some time with family and unwrap some gifts and just have a good old time and eat some food and hopefully be so full of be like a dog tick ready to pop. So I'm really looking forward to that. As anybody that knows me knows, I have rarely met a meal I didn't like.
Well, I'm going to eat bologna sandwiches over the sink.
Hey, nothing wrong with a good bologna sandwich, Naomi.
Nothing wrong with bologna. My mother used to fry bologna all the time.
Ooh, I love me some fried bologna.
Fried bologna is good.
With
Fried
some
bologna and
fresh
egg.
Yeah, some fresh tomatoes, maybe a little bit of Vidalia onion on it.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice, Clark.
That's good eating right there.
Heck yeah.
Well, I got a bit of good news today.
And what is that?
As everybody knows, if y'all have been with us here for the last couple months, back in November, we had a pretty nasty accident where my vehicle was totaled, and my son and I got put in the hospital. He wound up with a broken foot, and I was neck and back injuries. But we're in the process of trying to get through that and beyond that, and it's just been a long pain in the butt story. But we purchased a vehicle today. We finally found one that fit all of our criteria and the price point we were wanting. We bought a 2020 Nissan Rogue with 18,000 miles on it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a nice little vehicle, man.
I
rented one of those on one of my last trips. Nice little vehicle.
It drives really sweet. I took it out on the interstate and was piddling around. It's got an eco button and a sport button, and you hit that sport button, and she's got some oomph.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Awesome, good job.
It's a really beautiful blue.
That's great. I'm glad
Are
y'all
we planning
got
a show on Christmas? Christmas Day is what? Friday?
No,
Saturday.
Saturday is Christmas Day.
Oh.
Here's your out, buddy. Here's your out.
Yeah. No, I don't think we're going to be doing a show on Christmas. I think my wife would probably murder me in my sleep. And for the life of me, I didn't think Christmas was on Saturday. So yeah, I'm glad that got pointed out. If I could schedule a show on Saturday on Christmas, I'm pretty sure there'd be more than a lump of coal in my stocking. In fact, she'd probably just put some hard rock and beat me over the head with it.
Yeah.
Why are you putting a bar of soap in that sock?
Don't worry, honey. Just go to sleep.
As she ties down the blanket.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't end well for me if we did a show on Christmas. So this is kind of our Christmas show, and wishing a happy holidays to everybody, and hope you guys have an amazing holiday with your families. But we won't be doing a show this Saturday.
Sing us a Christmas song then, DA.
You don't want me to sing. I'm a tone deaf hillbilly that can't carry a tune in a bucket.
I was just on a show an hour ago where he sang to us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's saying
probably a
White
better
Christmas.
singer than me.
And he plays the piano. Blew me away. I'm so jealous.
Nice.
I don't have any of those talents. But
I
anyway,
play the
his
radio.
name was Carrie. So, Carrie Davis, why don't you sing a song for us?
I can't sing you a song, but I could tickle the ivories for you a little bit.
Oh, that'd be cool. Go for it.
Well, I don't have my piano in here. It's in the other room.
We'll bring it in there.
I've got one of these.
There you go. A little mouth
There
art.
you go.
That you don't get any more hillbilly than that.
That's
right.
right.
That is correct, sir.
That is about as hillbilly as it gets. And yes, I can play it. And I won't, out of the kindness of my heart, because it's pretty god awful. It's just not a pretty instrument.
Okay.
It's about like a didgeridoo.
Yeah, or bagpipes. I love bagpipe music, but they are an acquired taste.
You ain't lying.
Happy birthday, Robert Sharp.
Yeah, happy birthday, Robert.
Yeah, sing happy birthday to him.
No, that song's actually copyrighted. They can come after you for singing that song. That's why most restaurants don't sing it anymore. They sing their own version of it.
They settled that.
They did? It was really weird. I mean, like, are they going to come to your birthday party for your 12 for your kids? Like, you lost $25 for singing that song.
Well,
like the doorbell rings and it's
somebody would have got introduced to the pinata bat if they showed up in my backyard telling me I owed them money for singing a song. What are you, Napster? I want my $2.
Josh
Mark
Jones,
Napier says, I love me some bagpipes. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Josh asked me how the hell I was. Josh, I am rolling.
There we go. That's the tradition. I asked him before we hit on the air, so.
Heck yeah.
Well,
Carrie,
go ahead.
Here's one for you.
Oh,
woo.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it, man. Good deal. Hope you never have to use it.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Hoping
it's one of those things. It's kind of like a parachute. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Because if you ever need it and not have it, you probably won't ever need it again.
That's correct. Amen.
I 100% agree.
Robert Sharp says I'll be 58. Well, congratulations, sir. Was it Groucho Marx once said, if I'd have known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said, you're only 57. I said, I hope I look like I'm 57. I worked hard to get here. I want something to show for it.
Robert Forster says, when is More Wild Hunt coming out on audio? I believe Cam is working on the second one now. I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks. I need to give him a call and see how he's doing and wish him Merry Christmas and kind of catch up with him because I haven't talked to him in a bit. It's been kind of hectic since the wreck. It's been nuts. Still dealing with all the ramifications of it, and it's going to get stupid before it's done, I'm afraid. Kyle Real says Merry Christmas. Sergeant D.A. Roberts, thank you, sir. Merry Christmas. And Kyle, I got your Christmas card. Thank you very much. It was awesome. Thank you so much. I guess I could actually get to the topic of the show other than just us yammering. But Naomi, this was your brainchild. Do you want to introduce the topic?
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we will be speaking about the Kelly-Hopkinsville Encounter. Never heard of the Kelly-Hopkinsville Encounter? Tell us, DA, what does that involve? No. The Kelly-Hopkinsville Encounter actually happened in Kentucky, just a couple hours north of me. Happened in 1955. It happened to the Sutton family. It depends on what report you read as to which members of the family were there. But in all of the reports, Elmer Lucky Sutton was involved. His mother, Glennie, was involved. His wife, Vera, was involved. Excuse me. And his best friend, Billy Ray Taylor, and his wife, June, were involved. Beyond that, I believe that he had a brother who was there, whose name suddenly escapes me. And
it's not my name.
Yeah, I like that. Name my kids that.
Hi, I'm suddenly escapes me.
And I know that there were at least 3 children there because his mother had her older sons by a first marriage, and then they had 3 younger children by a second marriage. I think she was twice widowed. And so it was an interesting night. Lucky and his wife Vera and his best friend Billy Ray. I love that name, Billy Ray. And
That's my
his wife
principal's name.
June. they were carnies, and they were on the road all the time. And did you want me to start talking about it, or do you want to ease
Jump
into
on
it?
in there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, just dive on in.
Well, Lucky and Billy Ray were carnies, and they were on the road all the time, and they just happened to be close to Hopkinsville, and he decided to take some time off and go visit his mother. And he brought Billy Ray and his wife with, and they had a good time. They stayed for a few days and played cards, did a little fishing, visited with some old friends, and everything was hunky-dory fine until Sunday night, June 21st, 1955.
A day that shall live in infamy.
No, anyway. So they were sitting around playing cards that night. It was about dark. And this was an old farmhouse. We're not talking modern conveniences. They didn't have telephone. They didn't have indoor plumbing. I do assume they had electricity, but I could be wrong there. Anyway, they were sitting around playing. I'm sorry, I started reading things. The flat hat crew. Is that what you call that? A flat hat? Anyway, they were
driver's caps.
I always call them Irish hats. I always think of Irishmen as wearing those. Regardless,
Well, since I'm about 90% Mick, and I guess it's appropriate.
We were talking about the day of infamy, June 21st of 1955.
Yeah, I
in
do
Clark
apologize.
County, Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, Billy Ray got thirsty, and they didn't have indoor plumbing. And of course, the dishes had been done, and Miss Glennie had cooked a big meal for after dinner, after church, and not after dinner, after church.
That after dinner meal, that's my favorite.
Mine too, actually. I really love the leftovers.
What about second dinner?
Yeah.
11's luncheon.
Woohoo. Okay. And so he had to go outside of the well to get his water. And he did a little hemming and hawing, and it got a little bit razzed about it. But he got up and he went out to the well, and about 2 or 3 minutes later, he came flying back into the house, shook up. We were talking shook to the core. Now, Billy Ray was a bit of a practical joker, so nobody really took him seriously. But after a few minutes, and he couldn't concentrate on the cards, and he couldn't think straight, and he clearly was off somewhere else and staring out the window, Lucky finally said, "You must have really seen something. We need to go out and investigate it." So outside they went, and they were out there a few minutes, and they came flying back in, and they went straight to the gun cabinet. They got out a shotgun and a .22, and they loaded themselves up, and they went back outside. And for about the next 15 or 20 minutes, everyone in the house heard nothing but gunshots. And they came back inside, and Miss Glennie said, "What in the world is going on? What have you seen out there?" Apparently, when Billy Ray had gone out the first time, and he was going out to the well, a bright light had crossed over the house, and it was for lack of a better expression, it was farting rainbows. It was shooting multicolored. It was a leprechaun.
Oh, they're after me Lucky Charms, aren't they?
How long did it take him to shove them Skittles up there?
Taste the rainbow.
Lord, I apologize.
Anyway.
I swear I only had one bourbon.
I haven't even cracked into it yet.
Wow.
It passed over the house and it went over the woods and then it dropped straight down into the woods. And that's what shook him up. And that's what sent him flying back into the house. But when he and Lucky went back out, they saw these beings in the tree line. DA, you want to bring that picture back up? Or I guess I could, of the beings.
Sure. This one?
Sure, that works.
Huh.
They were kind of iridescent. Their arms.
Why does it look like zombies in the window?
Well,
They do, don't they?
I'd be more scared of what's inside than outside.
That's just the moonshine.
But the creatures were rather iridescent. They were very muscular torsos, but their legs looked real skinny and stick-like. Their arms were nearly touching the ground. And they had big ears that looked like they were real leathery that stood up. And in one of the reports, I believe there's a drawing, and it actually says that there were little antennas too, but I only saw that in one report. They never touched the ground. They floated. And when they shot at them, if they hit them, they would flip over onto the ground and then get up and run away. So, of course, the guys reloaded and they went back out. And actually what happened was, while they were telling the story and Billy Ray was explaining what they'd seen,
It's like a tornado in a trailer park story, ain't it, Naomi? Well,
yeah.
here's what happened. I seen it. It's coming over the trees of farting rainbows. Sorry. I grew up in South Mississippi. I mean, that was a regular occurrence down there. Not the farting rainbows, the tornadoes in a trailer park.
You know, only in rural America could they be like, "There's aliens. Get the guns."
and let's interview the dumbest SOB we can find.
You know what really blows my mind about this story is almost universally they say when they first came out of the woods, they had their hands up and they still shot at them.
They were far too brave to accept their surrender.
Yeah. Holy crap, man. Wow.
Yeah. The interesting thing was though, while they were in the house and they were telling their story, Billy Ray happened to look out the window and saw one coming up on the porch, so he fired through the window at it. I don't know if he opened the window first. I couldn't tell you, but he did fire through the window.
If I'd have shot out the window glass, my mother would have beat me to death.
I'm pretty sure Miss Clooney would have too. But anyway, he ran out onto the porch, and as he was standing out there, this hand comes down, this claw-like hand comes down towards his head to grab him. And he was yanked back in the house in the nick of time. And of course, then all hell broke loose and they didn't care what they were shooting at or if they were inside or out. And that went on till about 10:30, 11 o'clock that night.
What are y'all smoking tonight?
Well, I'm fair convinced there wasn't any actual eggnog in that eggnog.
Yeah. Just high on life, George. Just high on life, man. Naomi, how long did this encounter go on? I read somewhere because I remember y'all were going to do this. It lasted for several hours, didn't it?
Well, it went on to about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they got a break in the action. I don't know, quit farting rainbows or something. They all jumped in the car and they took off to Hopkinsville. Kelly is right on the north end of Hopkinsville and it's unincorporated, so it's kind of hard to find.
Okay.
But it's just north of Hopkinsville. So they headed straight into Hopkinsville to the police department. Of course, they run inside and they're all out of breath. And the police officer on duty is kind of looking at them crazy, but we're talking, this is what, 8 years after the whole thing in Roswell. So he took them seriously. And he called in the sheriff or the police chief, and the police chief called the state police, and the state police called the military police, and they all went back out to the house. And they found lots of empty shell casings. They found lots of holes in the walls, and outside and inside, they could tell that these guys had definitely had a gunfight.
That might be the most unbelievable part of the story, and I think the story legitimately happened. But on the word of some possibly intoxicated rednecks, this local sheriff's department called in literally everybody.
Yeah, because Hopkinsville is right next to Fort Campbell. If I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Call the National Guard.
That's right. That's the only ones they didn't call was the National. No. Anyway, they did. It was right there, so they called them, and they all showed up. And there was no doubt that there had been a gunfight, but there was no bodies, there was no blood, there was no footprints, there was nothing to indicate that they'd had anything to shoot at. But the other thing that they didn't have, and that right there is Billy Ray's description. That is based on Billy Ray's description of what he saw.
I saw that on Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. Well, there's a Pokemon. There's 2 Pokemons that are designed after that particular description. They actually have a Pokemon after the Kelly, Kentucky aliens. But one other thing they didn't find was there was absolutely no indication of any alcohol use in that house. Not one empty beer bottle, not one empty jug or bottle of any kind. Yeah. Miss Glennie was a very devout Christian, and she did not allow alcohol consumption in her home. So there was no drinking. There was none of that happened. There was strictly what these people said they saw. Now, here's the scary part to me. The police left, and the military people left, and everybody went home, and they left the family there. And it's about 3:00 in the morning at this point. And they all go to bed, and Miss Glennie passed the night staring out the window at one, staring right back in at her. They were still there. So, yeah, it was definitely, I'm all tangled up in yarn, and I don't know how it happened.
Get to spinning a yarn, literally?
Yeah, literally. But anyway, so they were still there, and they were probably there when all of the military people were out there, but they saw all the guns, I'm sure, and thought, well, these guys are going to shoot at us. Those guys are really going to shoot at us. And then the next morning, the police came back out and did a daylight investigation, and again they found nothing. And then they went to the local radio station. One thing that they brought with them that I thought was a little over the top is they brought a newspaper reporter with them, and when they went out the first time. And so by the next morning, the whole world knew about this. It had gone over the wires, and they went down to the radio station and did an interview. And even though they had all been kept apart, they all told very, very similar. I mean, their stories it was the same story. And I don't know, maybe they all sat around the house, but I actually think they saw something. I don't think that this is made up. I really do think they saw something.
I do too.
It was really bad for them. They had people coming on their property, walking on wherever they wanted, walking into the house, taking things from the house, just taking them as souvenirs, putting them in their pockets and walking out with it without even asking. And then turning around and calling the Sutton family liars and charlatans and everything else while they're standing there with their possessions in their pockets. I mean, it was bad for them. Miss Glennie couldn't take it, and she actually moved away, and she never moved back. She couldn't take it anymore. And
I blame her.
at one point, they thought, well, if we can't get rid of them, because they'd put no trespassing signs up all over the place. And at one point, they decided, well, if we can't get rid of them, we may as well charge them to get on the property. So they 50 cents to go on the property, $1 if you wanted to hear the story, and $10 if you wanted a picture. And that just, of course, led to even worse accusations of, being fabulous and things like that. And so Miss Glennie just finally packed up and left, and hoped that would be the end of it. Of course, it was all over the national news at that point. It wasn't going to ever be the end of it. And for years and years and years, they endured a lot of abuse on that. But now, I mean, they've embraced it. That week in August, you can actually go to, I guess it would be actually Hopkinsville, but you can go there, and they have it's called a Little Green Men Days Festival. And it's a big deal there now. Here's another interesting story I always thought was fascinating. In 2017, when we had the eclipse, that happened on August 21st. And the town that was the metropolitan area closest to the path of totality that had the longest view of the eclipse that day was Hopkinsville. Same day. Yeah, 62 years later. So,
and wasn't the movie Critters loosely based on that incident too?
Was it really?
I think I read somewhere when y'all were talking about this, when we were talking about this last week, that the movie Critters back in the 80s was based on that.
Very well could have been. Like I said, there's 2 Pokemon figures. Yeah. And I honestly don't know, Josh. Josh said it was probably something, but I don't know the first thing about Pokemon, so I couldn't tell you what ones they are. But there are 2 of them that were designed after the Kelly-Hopkinsville. And some people refer to them as goblins. Some people don't even think they were aliens.
Yeah.
They're often called the Hopkinsville goblins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and another thing. Oh, go ahead.
Somebody was even saying they discounted the account because they were thinking they were the great horned owl. And how they defend their nests and all that kind of stuff. But
I don't know about that. I've never seen an owl shrug it off after getting shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, man. I mean, that owl take a load of double-aught buck, it's going to go down, and you're going to find. And if it was an owl and they did make impact with them, would you have at least found feathers? Yeah, I don't know. So there's no evidence of that either.
And that's the thing. There was absolutely no evidence of anything having been shot. I mean, clearly things have been shot at.
Right, like what Greg Price just said. Classic dishonest skeptic tactics, attack claimants no matter what they do. Absolutely. They're going to try to find some way to debunk it, even if there is truth there, because they don't want to accept it.
That's why so many people with legitimate sightings of Bigfoot never came forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
We the sighting reports that we get are a small percentage of people that have actually seen it, because they don't want to be ridiculed and made fun of and have their neighbors call them liars and all that stuff.
100%. They don't want to have to endure what they've seen other people endure because they run you through the grinder.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I find most interesting, or not most interesting, but one interesting thing I find about this is that it's actually it's the second biggest alien event in our country, second only to Roswell. And yet there are a lot of people who don't really know the story.
I watched a documentary on it on Amazon Prime, and this was like a couple of years old. They went back to that area where the house was at, and they got still like mildly higher doses of radiation from some of the area. Granted, it's been 70 years ago, but they were still picking up greater than normal background radiation from some of the places around the property.
The other thing is the expression "little green men." It's sort of a misnomer, I guess, because first of all, none of the Suttons ever used that expression. Glennie Sutton, or her last name wasn't Sutton, but Miss Glennie, Lucky's mother, described them as being the same color as the silver on her refrigerator, the silver hardware. It was, I have listened to the actual interview, some of the actual bits of the actual radio interview, and I hear the disc jockey use that phrase, but you can't find any place in any of the documents or any of the encounters where any of the Suttons ever referred to them as little green men. They all said that they were silver or iridescent. And there is a strange story in Kentucky about a green man that I don't know the whole story. In fact, I obviously clearly don't know any of the story other than the fact that a lot of people attribute the confusion with that story with the fact that they're now called the little green men, but they were never, the Suttons never saw any green men. They only ever saw silver or iridescent creatures.
Just farting rainbows.
Just farting rainbows. I'm sorry. I just couldn't think of a better way to put it.
It's perfect.
It's a wonderful.
That's going to find its way into my vocabulary at some point.
That's going to be in a book.
That it might.
Yep. From now on, you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to tell you I'm farting rainbows.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, that's I mean, you know, what have you guys heard of? I did this on my channel, released it earlier this week, but I left a lot of things out, and there are a lot of things that I actually didn't know about. So, what do you guys think about this? You know,
well, the simple fact that they got local law enforcement and they came back out and found expended cartridges all over the place seems to me to indicate that they legitimately saw something, because, you know, you said there was no evidence of alcohol, so they didn't get liquored up and just start shooting at anything that moved. They were shooting at something. Now, you know, what it was, I can't say for sure. You know, I wasn't there. We can't second guess what they saw, but we have their story to go by. And as you said, the family was religious, especially the matron of the family, and they brought literally everybody in the local reporter out there and found casings and where there had been clearly a fight, but they couldn't find any traces of the creatures. So to me, that lends credence that they definitely saw something. You know, so all we've got is their word to go on, and you know, honestly, I think that's probably good enough that they legit saw something that scared them bad enough they engaged in a gunfight to defend their house.
Right, and to piggyback on what you said, DA, let's look at these folks. They're rural Kentuckians. They're country folks, and country folks typically don't seek the limelight. They want to be left alone, and they're not going to do anything to call attention to themselves. But this was, whatever happened to them was enough that they sought out not only the local authorities, but hell, they brought everybody. You know,
everybody they can get.
And they invited all the scrutiny right then and there. So I would agree with that as well. That conclusion as well, man. I mean, something happened, whether people, you know, believe it or not, but to them it was real enough, like DA said, for them to start slinging lead, you know, through their house.
Years later, the man who had been police chief at the time of the incident was interviewed by someone who asked him, you know, what do you think happened out there that night? And his response I found very telling. He said, well, I don't know what happened out there that night. I wasn't there. But every time I interviewed Miss Glennie and she started talking about it, I saw a fear in her eyes that you can't fake.
That's right. Go back to the interview that last week that DA did with Fred, and those indicators, those physical indicators that you cannot fake.
Well, and
people relive it.
Even if he was able to fake the mannerisms, the simple fact that his anxiety levels went through the roof, the dogs were reacting to that. You cannot fake that. The dogs were freaking out because he was freaking out. The dogs
That's right.
didn't know what the threat was, but they knew he was upset.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. So Miss Glennie,
To me, that was just incredibly telling.
you know, what's a God-fearing woman gonna? She's not gonna sit there and lie, you know,
Yeah.
just for her own gain or anything. So, yeah, I agree.
Yep. Me too. All right. Well, show over. We'll talk to you later.
And good night, everybody.
And cut.
General, thank you for joining us, man. I have not got the Christmas message up yet. It's been a busy week.
I was going to
I'll get
say,
that done tonight, probably.
didn't somebody say that there was another alien encounter somewhere in Franklin, Kentucky?
I seem to remember hearing something about that. I think I can't remember off the top of my head. Was it right about the same time or shortly thereafter?
I think it was a lot more recent than that. Oh wow, I just found a website that says 15 times aliens definitely visited Kentucky. Wow. They must have a healthy opinion of us. Uh-oh.
Like I said, we're the Arkansas of the universe. They lock their doors when they drive by.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Hey, dude, can you hear us this time? We can't hear you.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I'm looking at an article right now, Naomi. It says in 2020 alone, more than 80 Kentucky cases were reported to and investigated by MUFON, according to its online database.
Wow.
So, yeah. The shootout with the space aliens in Hopkinsville, 1955. The fatal air chase in Fort Knox in 1948.
Yeah, we discussed that on an earlier show.
I remember that one. And
it was a P-51 Mustang.
Sure was. And then Casey County abduction, Stanford, Kentucky, 1976. Close encounter with sentient beings, Prospect, Kentucky, 1977. And a showdown between police and a UFO in Louisville.
Wow.
In 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Said police 2 air unit officers reported having a 2-minute dogfight with the UFO during a routine helicopter patrol and said it was shooting baseball-sized fireballs out of its middle.
Dang.
Yeah. So
and you thought farting rainbows was bad.
I know. I'd rather see farting rainbows and flaming fireballs, man, any day.
You must have ate at Taco Bell.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something. I mean, if just in 2020, if they had 80 sightings reported by MUFON, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I live on the north side of Nashville, and I was headed into work one day back when I didn't work from home. This would have been around 2000. I guess it would have been early 2017. And I would go in very early because traffic here is just atrocious. And the sun hadn't quite come up yet. And I'm looking directly south into the downtown heart of Nashville. And it was just the prettiest green light I've ever seen, just drifted across the sky and then just kind of went down into the horizon. I don't know what it was. I checked all of the UFO sites thinking someone would report it, nothing. So I checked all the meteorological sites thinking someone would report it, nothing. I'm guessing that I must have drank some good coffee that morning. Because I've never heard anybody else talk about it. But I did see that.
Yeah,
and it was the prettiest green light I've ever seen.
I mean, you saw it. You saw it, and it's just like feelings. You can't tell somebody what they're feeling. You can't tell somebody what they saw either.
Yeah.
Whatever you see is your encounter.
See, that's why the aliens keep coming to Kentucky. They got to have that. It's not me. I promise. It's not me.
Yeah, I think it's Josh.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you
Yeah,
hear
we
me
hear
now?
you now. Yeah, we hear you.
Something's wrong with the headset. Won't connecting right for some reason.
Anyway, I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry.
About your encounter.
No, it was going to be some. Oh, the reason the aliens come to Kentucky is because they need the moonshine for the rocket fuel.
That's bad shine.
I've had some good shine in Kentucky.
Me too.
I've had some shine you could run a lawnmower on. Of course, it'd probably hover about 3 feet off the ground. But
See, maybe
That's why the
there's-
aliens were hovering.
I was gonna say maybe that's why those aliens were hovering. They were
Yeah.
liquored up, man. Who knows?
Yeah, nobody in
Hey,
the house
Nam.
was drinking, but
Now,
yes, sir.
that story you were talking about when I jumped on here, what time period was that set in?
The 1955 the Kelly, Kentucky incident happened August 21st, 1955.
One thing you guys didn't consider was a simple fact. You're talking rural South in the 50s. Money won't like it is now. So all that brass you were talking about expended, that was probably a year's hunting allowance.
Mhm.
They shot up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why a redneck would not waste that ammo like
No.
that?
No.
especially when
that's-
you use that ammo to supplement your diet.
That's
Right.
a good point. That's a good point, Josh. I mean, that's food on a table right there. You know.
I've heard accounts. You hand out 2 or 3 bullets, you better bring a damn squirrel back with each one of them little 22s. If not,
right.
somebody's getting their ass tanned.
That's right. No, that's a very good point. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, they're not just like I think John Doe said, they're not gonna just light something up for no reason.
Right.
You know, there's
Especially
something.
shooting through wall windows.
Right, exactly. So, they saw something, just like they almost saw something. And there's another gentleman on here that said he saw something, a green orb over Sedona that went down behind the mountains. So could have been
Same
there.
thing
It
I
is.
saw.
Yeah, same thing. Large big green ball of light.
Yeah, Todd Hunter, what did we see? Was that like in 2000s? Oh no, it was in the 90s. Never mind. I was going to say maybe it flew from Nashville to Sedona. I don't know. But
My wife, when she was a young girl, her whole family saw a bright, I think she said it was orange light. They were leaving Bolivar, Missouri, and it stayed pacing their car along the old highway all the way from Bolivar till just when they hit the city limits of Springfield. She said it changed directions and it just took off, just gone. But it stayed right next to their car and slightly above them the whole way from Bolivar to Springfield.
wow.
Yeah, my mom and dad back in the 70s, they were driving from my grandmother's house down in Picayune, Mississippi, out close to, it's about 15 miles from Slidell, Louisiana. So they're in a Pearl River swamp, and they were driving back towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where I grew up. And my dad and mom both saw a triangle shape of lights kind of trailing them along the highway, along the interstate there, Interstate 59, going towards Hattiesburg. And said it trailed them for forever, but he said it was like, couldn't have been more than 1,000 feet above. And he said it wasn't an airplane because there was no anti-collision lights, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a triangular shape of lights, like a Delta type formation. And then all of a sudden, he said the lights blinked and it was gone. And I couldn't have been more than probably 4 or 5 at that time. But I still remember them talking about that this day. Dad said, I never knew what it was. It wasn't what airplane, as far as we knew, anything like that. So
Josh Jones gave us a super chat. Happy Yule, y'all. Happy Yule, Josh. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I remember an overnight fishing trip. Me and some buddies went fishing up on the Gasconade River, and we were watching what we thought were meteors, like streaks of light in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And before long, we're like leaning back. We weren't really catching anything. So we're kind of leaning back, watching them. And I don't remember if it was me or my buddy Rick who first pointed it out and going, hey, do meteors normally go up? And we realized and they were going from a lower altitude to a much higher altitude. They were going up. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a meteor go upward before. So we didn't ever know what those were, but they were streaks of light that looked very much like meteors, but they looked to be leaving the atmosphere, not entering it.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
I've seen tracers do that when they hit something hard, go up like a little meteor going up. But yeah, that's. I mean, I think people see them all the time, and they discount them as to something that they're not, or the rational part of their brain takes over and says, "You didn't see that." So I do believe it's there. Just like the one Mark Napier. Yeah. So it was around the same time, Mark. Like 74, 75, when that one was pacing my mom and dad's car. Who knows?
You know what Audie Murphy's Law says about tracers, don't you?
They work both ways.
They work both ways.
That's one of Murphy's rules of combat right there.
That's right.
Mhm.
If it looks
My
Never
favorite
share a
is when-
foxhole. Never share a foxhole with somebody braver than you.
Or dumber or crazier.
yeah.
And the other one, my all-time favorite, will always be when the pin is pulled, Mr. Grenade is no longer your
That's a
friend.
That's
fact.
correct. Well, my favorite one was friendly fire ain't. So
There is nothing more accurate in the world than incoming friendly fire.
that's correct. That's correct.
Anna says, I had one appear 30 feet above my head. Try that for size. I probably would have needed a change of shorts. If it was that close,
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I believe we see them all the time, and we just discount them as something else. Satellites, aircraft, anything like that.
Yeah, and a lot of times if you're driving, especially if it's during the day, how often do you look up or really check the sides of the road? Your eyes are constantly scanning, but you're watching traffic. You could be driving past God knows what. I mean, there could be a Bigfoot flipping you off at the side of the road.
That's
You're
right.
probably like,
That's right.
what do I need an arrow to pass this guy.
Yeah, there was actually some footage from somewhere. I think it was Oregon or it was up in the Pacific Northwest. I think it was. It was a guy driving, and he on his dash cam he picked up a big bipedal creature right off the side of the road, getting up and trudging off. And they estimated the thing was about 9-10 feet tall, and he didn't see it until he was looking at his dash cam footage. And
Did he let it ride in the front seat?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. Gave him a Slim Jim or some crap. I don't know, or some of that jerky that they seem to like. But yeah, it's people are missing stuff. I mean, what if UFO technology? Let's look at aliens. We've said it before in past episodes, DA. And if we think we're the most intelligent life form out there, or the only life form out there, that's incredibly naive and arrogant. And if these races are sophisticated enough to come here, surely they're sophisticated enough to have some sort of cloaking technology to hide themselves in plain sight.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just a redneck nurse from Mississippi. So what the hell do I know? So
one thing I know is that never, ever, ever to judge anything else's intelligence on our own. I mean, are you going to call a fish stupid because it can't?
Right.
No, but I mean, are you going to call a fish stupid? Exactly. But are you going to call a fish stupid because it can't climb a tree?
Correct.
And so I think it's incredibly arrogant to assume that we're smarter than anything, to be honest with you.
Let's look at octopus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those things
suckers
terrify me.
Those suckers are smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely terrify me.
They are smart, terrifying. Yeah, absolutely.
Got a message here from my buddy Tyler Marshall. Went to the law enforcement academy with Tyler. Worked with him for years at the sheriff's department. Hell of a great guy. Was on the riot team with him. He's still a patrol deputy now, but there aren't many guys I would rather have kicking in a door with me than Tyler. That dude can scrap like nobody's business.
That's who you want.
Merry Christmas, Tyler. Thank you for checking in with us, brother. Anna says, I was froze on the spot trying to find binoculars instead of a camera, waving at an old fellow walking towards me. By the time old guy looked up, it was gone.
Yeah.
The trouble is now getting anybody to look up from their cell phone.
I clearly don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wrote an article about that today for Recoil Off-Grid magazine, talking about situational awareness in the mass casualty incident. So y'all will see that coming out in April of next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What? Recoil's big magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to write a few articles for them, so it's kind of cool being a redneck that's published. Ain't that right, DA?
That's right.
Josh Jones is civilized. You're too civilized to climb a tree.
Now, piggyback off of Josh's Yule pad, I come in Monday night, and it's like, wait a minute, it's almost a full moon. Well, actually, I looked up on the phone what the moon cycle was, so we're just past the full moon. It's almost winter solstice. Sounds like some bad. I think I read one too many DA books. Bad juju is about ready to happen.
Yeah, my daughter's got all of her crystals lined up on the deck outside, and my wife put a big salt circle around the house, and so yeah, I just loaded up the belt fed, so we're good to go.
I like this statement right here. John Doe says even humans who have scientifically documented intellectual disabilities are often incredibly capable in some other regard.
Very
and
true.
I 100% agree with that.
Yes,
I have a cousin who was the world's greatest genius at not working. I mean, he had a way of not working on the job. It was fascinating. But I think that everybody's a genius at something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He said something earlier about that. He said, whenever we've misjudged other intelligent and other things by their intelligence, it's usually ended up poorly for us, and that's true. I mean, especially if we use ourselves to set the bar. I mean, we're setting the bar pretty freaking low. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Mark, that's funny you say that. I had one of his buddies reach out to me the other day about me and John doing some stuff together next year. Somebody said
awesome.
me and him look like brothers. So he's a good looking son of a gun, isn't he?
All right, who are they talking about? Carry service uneducated person in?
John Lovell. He's a former Army Ranger, and he runs a outfit called the Warrior Poet Society. Good dude. Got a lot of good information out there. So yeah, my buddy Sam Houston, that's legit his name, is good friends with him. So yeah, so
That's awesome.
Gonna put us in contact.
Folks, if you're enjoying the show tonight, if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button. Also share the videos with people you think might enjoy the show, because that really does help us get the reach of the show out there, and help us grow the channel so we can continue to bringing shows like this. So if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, and we would very much appreciate it if you did. So thank you very much. Hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of y'all showing up for the videos, because if you like and subscribe and hit that little bell, you'll get notified anytime we go live, because once in a while we do one just completely spur of the moment and don't even announce it. So it does happen.
Okay, what's in the decanter tonight?
That is Bullet 10-year. My
Nice.
daughter gave me a nice decanter for Father's Day. So this is it's fancy.
Nice.
So yeah, pretty rad. It's like every year I get alcohol related gifts. I'm like, man,
Somebody trying to tell you something?
I know, right? I'll take them, whatever.
Somebody listen to the old I'm going to hire wino.
Josh, we got to get you a better mic, my man.
Yeah, I can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, you
It's
sound
a-
like you're
it's
talking
somebody-
through a potato or on one of them old school kids walkie-talkies.
It's a
No, you
I've
sound
got my
like you're
backup
talking.
one. I don't know what's wrong with my other one.
yeah, he's talking about a Lefty Frizzell song. I'm gonna hire a wino to decorate our home. That's on my playlist, actually. So
That's
yeah.
funny.
So Naoma, other incidents in Kentucky, or in Tennessee, actually, because you live in Tennessee. I've heard that there's been quite a few sightings. I was reading some stuff earlier. Quite a few sightings up in the Appalachian area, in the Blue Ridge Parkway, Boone, Blowing Rock, North Carolina, because I was stationed at Fort Bragg for a few years, and the Boone and Blowing Rock area has had quite a few incidents Gastonia. I got a friend who lives in Gastonia that I was in Air Force with, and he said, yeah, we had stuff happen there frequently. So I don't know. Maybe it's because it's, I don't know, not populated. I mean, do they have some sort of, are they looking for some sort of minerals up there? I don't know. But
I think that there's always going to be higher instances near military bases. I mean,
Well, you also got
Hopkinsville
the
is by
160th SOAR right there somewhere in Kentucky. They have Fort Knox or Fort Campbell.
Campbell. Yeah, that's right
Campbell.
there.
That's what I think it was,
yeah.
Campbell.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
had
the Night
you think-
Stalkers are right there. If those guys, I guarantee if anybody's seen weird shit, it's the Night Stalkers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and look at Bragg. I mean, at Bragg, you've got Fort Bragg. Had Pope Air Force Base. Now it's Pope Field. Down in up in Goldsboro, North Carolina, you got Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. I mean, you got all kinds. You got several military installations in that area, even towards Nashville. You know, and because Hopkinsville is not that far from Nashville, is it, Naoma?
No, it's about, I think it's probably about 2 or 3 hours from us. It's not very far.
Yeah. So, I mean,
when I first developed an interest in this, well, actually it was before I met my husband, but the first time he and I ever talked about it, he drove me up there and showed me where, because he actually delivered to somebody who was just about 3 doors down from where the house is gone. But from where that house was, he used to deliver to somebody there. And so he drove me through there and showed me. And I don't think it took us more than maybe 3 hours to get up there. We're outside of, I mean, we weren't driving from downtown Nashville, but we're a few miles outside.
Yeah, like DA said too, those 160th guys up there, I've got a couple of buddies used to fly for them, and they've seen some weird crap, man. My buddy used to fly they call them the little birds, the little gunship helicopters, and another buddy used to fly
MH5 or something like that.
MH5, MH6, yeah. And then my buddy Tony flew the Chinooks. He flew the MH47, and so he's seen some weird things up there. I mean, I think there's military aviators all over that have seen things. I mean,
they just don't come forward.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't put that on a report, otherwise we end up in the psych office.
Right. I mean, yeah, because these guys are worried about losing their flight status. You know, I mean, flight status and clearance and things like that. You know, the camera off those cams off of the naval planes that just came to light a few years ago. Yeah. You know, so it's out there, man.
We had an ex-military pilot that flew for the hospital, and security always had to be up there for the fire suppression systems. And whenever the birds came in, and I was up there one day, and the wind was gusting pretty hard. And this pilot comes in and just kind of flares out and shifts it sideways a little bit and sets it right down, you know. And when he spooled down, got out, I'm like, man, that was impressive. So the winds are pretty nasty, and you just slipped it right in there. And he goes, "You want to make it tough? Start shooting at me." You ain't nobody shooting at me. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody want to comment on my hat tonight?
Nice hat.
I'm a Christmas critter.
Are you wearing a hat?
Critter. The Christmas Wendigo.
No, I'm a reindeer.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Sorry.
No, that's what I tell people. I got hit my grandma, but I got the old bag back. Y'all she had to get a whole new front end put on the car.
Man,
I bet that was funny as hell, but I couldn't understand a word of it. I'm sorry, Josh.
I'm sorry, Josh. It sounds like a bad McDonald's drive-through, brother.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Can I have French fries with that?
or the peanuts, the wah 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 wah.
Yeah,
I can't hear a damn thing anyway. So
I just realized you got headphones on, Pocket Doc.
Yeah. This is my travel headphones right here. The anti-baby screaming headphones I wear on the airplane. So yeah.
I used to wear those at home when my kids were little. I was such a good mom.
Oh my Lord.
And I don't work.
I said he's eating the mic. That's better.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely clear.
Like I said, my other one fucked up somehow.
I mean, the upside is we can hear you better. The downside is we can see
We
you
can
better.
hear you better.
Now I don't know what's wrong with the other with my good headset. It's like a goddamn wire out between the mic and the thing.
Were you farting rainbows, Josh?
No.
Oh, just asking.
No, what I
wondering.
said. No, what I said was that's what I was telling people last weekend at work. Yeah, I'm a reindeer. Grandma hit me, but I got the old bag back. She had to get a whole new front end put on the car.
Oh, man.
Well, now that we've settled our vehicle issues, I plan on doing some traveling in the area to get some more videos up.
DA, one investment,
Yes.
brush guard.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be taking that little thing off road. My wife would murder me if I tried to off road that thing.
Off road hell, the deers are in the city too.
That's true.
Plus, if a crackhead hits you this time, you just knock the hell out of them.
Oh, don't even joke, man. Ooh.
Now, DA, you're going to be doing some expeditions. What kind of video equipment are you going to be doing? Since that one that you and Josh did. No, it wasn't you and Josh. It was you and Steve.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's still all I've got is the cell phone. We had a real lively super chat one night for me to get extra gear, but it's like a month and a half behind before before YouTube actually pays it out. So hopefully sometime in January I can get a better camera. So in the meantime, I'll just use my phone, but my phone's got a pretty good camera.
That'd be great. That's awesome, man. Absolutely. Lanita, yes, I am.
I
Gaylord
believe that's
Fucker,
what Anita is too.
man nurse extraordinaire.
Do you milk cats?
I do not.
Oh,
I've milked cows plenty and goats, but never a cat.
I wanted to see Gaylord milk that cat after he talked about it.
Northwood says you need one of those old Dodge Power Wagons for going back in the woods. Well, heck yeah. If I could afford one, I'd have one. But I've got the next 6 years cut out for me before I buy another vehicle.
I hear you. Yeah,
Unless we see a huge surge in the book sales. Yeah, this is gonna be the only vehicle I buy for a while.
Yeah, ours are paid for. I just sent the last note off for Angie's this month, man. So her car is done, my truck is done, and we're good.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome! I'll send you my payment book.
There you go. Why the hell not? Come on. I mean, I'm a small business owner. I'm rich, right?
That's right.
My vehicle's paid for too, but it's also almost 15 years old. It's starting to bark at me.
I'm gonna drive my pickup until its wheels fall off.
When I got my vehicle, I was telling DA this earlier. When I bought my vehicle, I named it Elsa. I named my cars. I'm weird that way. And the reason I named it Elsa is because it was my escape from a narcissist, a very abusive narcissist who had control over me because of the vehicle I was driving, and this broke that. And I was born free, you know. Well, there's this guy who juggles, he's a comedian who juggles, and in the middle of juggling axes, he always stops and holds up one of the axes and says, "This axe belonged to George Washington. I have replaced the axe head and the handle, but it occupies the same space." So now we call my car George, because it pretty much has had everything replaced on it, but
Occupies the same space.
it occupies the same space. Everything's brand new on it. I don't think there's too much more we could replace.
Motor, tranny.
Oh, transmission we just replaced last year.
Well, you got the motor then still.
No,
Yeah.
we don't.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed you don't.
Yeah, no kidding.
The good thing is, DA, I'm glad you got you something safe and dependable to get out and do your field trips with. That's the most important part.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really a nice driving little vehicle. I'm pretty happy with it.
Cool.
Yeah, I drove one down to Texas, and it was really good on gas and had plenty of power when I needed it. I'm getting
it's
some
pretty peppy when you
feedback
put
on
the
here.
sport. Yeah, I'm hearing like something.
Yeah, it sounds like a frog farting. Rainbows.
Naomi, you're just full of them tonight.
You're on it
Frog
tonight,
fart
Naomi.
rainbows.
I can tell she's feeling better this week, man.
She's
I'll tell
singing
you
them
what.
tonight.
I have had such a rough day. I can't even begin to tell you. I need to laugh. It's the only way I can keep my sanity.
Good.
Well, if you want to laugh, I got one for you, Naomi.
You're
Okay,
not back.
I'll be right here.
We
Sure.
we needed more strips for the lumber because we air dry 'em. So we had a bunch of cull 3x4, so we ripped them up into strips. And I was talking to Dad tonight. I was like, "Them damn things were heavy, putting them in the bins." Yeah, and it's like, yeah, they were heavy. I could tell they were heavy because they were lugging down my forklift when I took them up the hill.
What were they?
Oak
Oh,
packing strips, like a tomato steak.
wow.
A whole
I,
damn bin full.
Dang, that's a lot of wood, man.
A lot of wood. Hell, I've been doing it for 2 days making strips. Just me and another guy run our damn asses off, chunk it through there. Then you throw it on a sawhorse, then you take it and throw it in the damn strip bin. Rinse, cycle, repeat. No, I think it's like a 1x2 by 7 foot is what we were making. Needless to say, make a damn hell of a damn bow staff.
I
Yeah.
would bet.
It gets your damn attention in a hurry. I know that.
I can imagine. Lucky Charms and Moonshine powered UFO. Damn Skippy.
That's a phrase I haven't heard in a while. Damn Skippy.
Oh my God! I think of the perverted Boston Charms.
Hooded Transport says Lucky Charms and Moonshine powered UFO.
No, look. It might be on. I know it's on Facebook. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not. Look up Boston Charms.
Boston Charms.
Yes.
I'm
Is that
afraid
like
to
Boston
ask.
Baked Charms? I am too.
I am
But
too.
here I am looking it up.
Oh my God, kid! Look at those chimes. Those chimes are wicked delicious, kid.
Oh.
I spent enough time up in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yeah,
I wish
well,
that I've never been up to that part. It's the only part of the country I've never been to. I've been everywhere else, but I've never been up.
Beautiful.
I have not been up to New England.
Man,
I'd like to go.
And so much history in such a small area.
I would
Yeah.
love to
The
spend
only real issue is so many people in such a small area.
Oh, it's
Well-
very peoply.
but not
And
not so much
I'm
in
not a real big
Vermont.
crowds kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm not either. And you're right, Naomi. Vermont and all the game wardens up in Maine that show Northwood's Law. I taught 160 game wardens in 3 weeks, and one of the dudes is up area called Millinocket. I'm getting a lot of bad feedback.
Yeah.
Me too.
And
Those frogs got
he's-
bad gas.
he said I can see Canada from where I am. So it's not peoply up there at all. But New England's beautiful. Go up there in the fall, and New Hampshire, have you some apple cider donuts.
Apple cider donuts. That sounds pretty
Oh.
tasty.
Dude, that's where it's at, man. Yeah. I'm with Sal, man. Yeah. New Hampshire, Vermont. Yeah, they've got some sightings up there in New England too, especially up in Maine. A
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
game warden dudes I taught during class. We were talking about it offline and on the range, and they were talking about Bigfoot type sightings up there, and
That's awesome.
especially up in the northern area. Like my buddy Andy up in Millinocket, he said he's seen them. I mean, these guys. There's only 60 guys for 38,000 square miles. So these guys have a lot of territory to cover. So that might be a good show. That might be a good show, DA.
Yeah.
To talk about some New England critters.
That would be awesome. We need to do that. Make that
They're
happen.
wicked hairy critters.
Well, I think there's a lot going on up in Maine anyway. You could probably do a whole show just on Maine.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy stuff going on up there. But yeah, me too.
Well, Lanita, you've only been in the medical field for 4 more years than me. I came in the medical field in 1991. So I'm getting right. If you're getting old, that means I'm right there with you.
We're all old. Let's just face it, we're old.
That's all right. I fart dust and rainbows.
I hear you.
Apparently, I just
Sal-
fart rainbows.
Sal, that's pretty funny. It's the only problem with Maine. It's the setting of most of King's novels. I was once called the Stephen King of the Ozarks, and then somebody jokingly said, "No, Stephen King's the D.A. Roberts of Maine."
I like that. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
funny. Yeah.
Werewolf 5674 says, the only problem is you have to go through New York. I don't go anywhere I can't carry.
Brother, I'm right there with you, sir.
Because I'm not a gun owner, I'm stupid. I thought he was saying carry in New York, and I was like, well, hell, I can't go anywhere then because I can't carry Tennessee either. But I see the point. I'm a little slow on the uptake.
Yeah, New Hampshire, Maine would be a really good one to explore, man. Up in New Hampshire, going towards Maine, the White Mountain area, the White Mountain region of New Hampshire, a lot of sightings up there too. So that's a lot of wilderness up there.
I'd like
Green Mountain Boys territory.
I'd like to go to the location of the Kelly Green Man story and film there.
Yeah,
there's a
I'd
lot
meet
of stuff
you
that's
there.
happened in Kentucky. I'd like to go check out. I definitely want to go back to LBL. I want to go in March when we're having the big gathering, but I would also like to go back independently and invite a select few people along for the fun, because there's some things I want to try. I want to try predator calls, like dying rabbit, that kind of thing, to see what I can draw in. I've got a feeling I might be able to get something on video, and that's the plan. I want to set up video traps. I don't want to do IR lights, because it seems to me that most animals can see it. I know deer react to it, and if deer can see it, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Bigfoot or Dogman can see it. So I want to do true low light cameras, not IR cameras, and I want to try to call something in with a predator call and see what happens. Of course, I'm planning on being armed to the teeth. But...
All right, and you might need a good medic.
There we go. Heck yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I got big hands, so there you go. Put my hands on you.
Big hands.
And a 458 SOCOM.
And a 458 SOCOM. And a 10 millimeter. So there you go.
I'm hoping that if things go well, that maybe sometime around my birthday, honey, if you're listening, yes, around my birthday, I would like to pick up a 50 GI from Guncrafter Industries.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, get to writing and get the books out.
Yeah.
When's your birthday, DA?
June 1st.
June.
Oh. I shall have to put that in my phone right now. Let me see here. I'm gonna put that
I don't
in there
need
right
to.
now.
I have a cousin who's born on June 1st.
Marilyn Monroe was born on June 1st. It's like the only celebrity I share a birthday with that I know of.
I'll have to call you and sing you the sexy happy birthday.
Let me happy birthday. Oh my God. That's a mental image I don't need.
Hey, I'll do it in my kilt for you.
There we go.
Don't be hating now.
Regimental.
Man,
Full regimental with no shirt on.
Full regimental, baby. Just,
In a windstorm.
heck yeah.
You guys laugh about the singing. I had a teacher in high school. He would do something similar to that for everybody's birthday and get down and kneel at the crescendo at the end.
That's awesome. I want to party that dude.
Depressing.
Yeah,
Luis Noriega says, what about a Desert Eagle 50 cal? Desert Eagle 50 cal is a great handgun, but I could buy 3 of the Guncrafter Industries 50s for what a Desert Eagle's going for.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, man, the 50 GI, comparatively speaking, as far as ammo prices, it's less expensive than the 50 AE.
Mm-hmm. And in ballistics tests, it went through 42 inches of ballistics gel. That's going to put the smacking hurt on something.
Man, that's hot.
Yeah.
What's cheap ammo anyways?
Yeah, I know, right?
These days.
Yeah. I mean, you should name one Jolnir. You know?
Yeah, Mjolnir. There we go.
Yeah.
Get 2 of them, Mjolnir and Gungnir, Odin's spear.
There you go.
Alrighty then. Guns are
Napiers
over my head.
Napiers have our own tartan. Yeah, I do too. We're Clan Davidson. We're the second sept in the Clan Davidsons. So, yeah,
we
my
were a
mother-in-law.
sept of Clan Robertson.
There you go. See, my mother-in-law asked me if I wore my kilt properly because they're all Scottish. They're McCullough, and she said, "What do you wear under your kilt?" I said, "My shoes and my socks." So.
You know, the funny thing about Scots is they talk about, you know, Scots being grumpy and irritable, but no one in the world holds a grudge like a Scot. I mean, no one. There are pubs in northern Scotland that to this day say all clans welcome but Campbell because of the Battle of Culloden.
Yep. And they hold a grudge against the crown too, because there are, like, when I went to Scotland the first time, I walked into a pub up in the Highlands, and I was gonna pay with a £10 note, and it had Bank of England, and he's like, "No, we don't take that here." So I ended up, so I went to the bank there in Inverness and changed them all out for Bank of Scotland notes, even though it's all sterling, but I changed them all out for Bank of Scotland. So they're pretty, I mean, that's the side of Culloden up in that area. So yeah. It's pretty.
Sound the peeve rocks loud and proud.
Louis Noriega says maybe you need to get a Winchester 4570. It holds 6 rounds. Yeah, I'd love to have one. I would like to have a big Henry Golden Boy in 4570.
Yeah, but I mean, let's look at it ballistically speaking here. The 458 SOCOM, you got a 10-round mag, and it's you're launching a 400 grain projectile around 2,300 feet per second, or 2,000 to 2,300 feet per second, depending on what load you're using. I mean, that's like a semi-automatic 4570. So you can put a lot more hurt down range. I've got a 4570 Marlin, and the one rated for Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
And but the 458 SOCOM is a solid round. SBR Technologies makes some really good ammo for it.
I've already warned the wife. We ever start getting Netflix money coming in, like like Big Buddy, I'm taking a drive down to Neosho, Missouri, to the headquarters of Black Rain Ordnance, and I'm like, I want this, and I want this, and I want this.
Yeah, like a kid in a candy store.
That's right. I get that 458 SOCOM Devastator.
Heck yeah.
Okay, they have a AR style 457 now, don't you?
I knew that one too. They make a 4570 in the AR style too.
Yeah, the Phoenix weaponry, I think. Or
Phoenix weaponry.
Yeah.
I use that as Valkyrie's sniper's rifle.
That's right.
And
I was the one that sent you the link. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, here you go,
I am gonna be upgrading Valkyrie's rifle though.
There you go.
Ooh, that
Now,
looks
my full
Look
Full
at
reg-
you.
full regimental.
All right.
Heck yeah.
Gotta lift up your skirt and show me.
I don't.
It's
So
not
I
a
don't-
scat, it's a kilt.
It's not.
It's
It's
not a
a-
skirt, it's a cute.
It's
You know,
a
the
kilt.
okay, you
Scotsman
stay
song.
regimental. You joining the Black Watch.
Yeah, no.
You
That's
know the
my-
Scotsman song, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize. Yeah.
I've been sitting here singing that song for the last 10 minutes in my head.
You know why they call it a kilt? Because that's what the Scotsman did for the first dude. They called it a skirt. He killed him. So,
Guilty graveyard dead.
Graveyard dead.
As opposed to what other kind of dead?
Exactly. Mostly dead.
He was only mostly dead.
He's only mostly dead.
I'm not dead.
Come back on
Miss
Monday.
Chef Yoda says, "Did y'all talk about the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter?" Yeah.
Sadly.
Yes, we have, but we kind of got off on a tangent, like we're tending to do. We'll be getting back to it, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure we'll meander back to the subject at some point.
Yeah.
We digressed rapidly.
Yeah.
The hound's still chasing the rabbit. Oof, oof, oof.
Oh my goodness gracious. Whew. I got the vapors. Lord have mercy.
I do declare.
I got the
Kind
vapors.
sir, I just don't know what you are about.
Wait,
Carrie's a
I'm
medic.
standing my-
That means he don't know nothing about birthing no babies.
I don't know nothing about birthing no babies. Oh my God, it's in the back of the ambulance. That's just a horrid thing, man. When I was a paramedic, I did it twice, and it was not a joyous experience for anyone. Believe me.
I'm not going to lie to you. In a hospital bed, it's just a horrible thing.
I mean, I delivered my baby girl, so that was in a more controlled environment. Yeah, it was still pretty bad, but it wasn't nearly as bad as what Jeff Foxworthy said. It's like a little old man dipped in 30 weight trying to come through the cat door. You know, so it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. I don't care who you are. I'd rather deal with that damn Wendigo than I would a baby. Goodness gracious.
Mr. Chef Yoda says, "I was wondering if you'd already did it. I'm not familiar with it, and was wondering if you had to go back and rewatch. Took the daughter out looking at Christmas lights, so I missed the first part. No problem. We'll be recapping it here shortly." And then Mark
Eventually.
Maybeer says, "Yeah, us Kentucky boys have been holding off the alien invasion since the 50s."
Miss Chef
Same in
Yoda, you
Mississippi.
can also catch basically the gist of the story if you go to Neoma Finn and watch it. Just saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, everybody gets all quiet now.
Got a bad
All
case of the giggles. I'm just trying to break the habit.
I know. Awkward silence punctuated by giggles.
Northwoods Cryptid says that when my daughter was little, she saw a guy in a kilt and said, "That guy's wearing a dress."
Yeah. It looks like it. It's actually pretty comfortable.
I was showing pictures of my family's tartan to my wife, and she looked at it, looked at me, and goes, "No, you are not wearing that."
When I was younger, I woke up next to a kilt. Nobody in it, just the kilt. I guess he chewed himself out.
Yeah, I mean, I wore them to the Highland games up here in Estes Park a few times in Colorado, and it's actually really comfortable as long as it's not chilly outside. If you know what I'm saying, it can get a
It's a
little.
wee bit breezy then.
It can a wee bit drafty up in there, so a little bit of shrinkage.
I've been meaning to go to the Highland Games, but I can't catch it on a windy day.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to go unless the wind's blowing hard.
Oh my goodness. Be
Yeah,
like that scene in Braveheart on the front lines when they'll just flash them with their kilts.
Yeah.
And then
My
that guy takes an
favorite-
arrow to the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right up Main Street.
That's gonna leave a mark.
It's not so much here or here. Yeah, Werewolf said he delivered 2 in the back of the ambulance and 1 in a women's prison. That's an interesting experience right there, brother. I've never delivered 1 in a women's prison, thankfully. So, yeah. Just in the ambulance and in a delivery suite. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, my ex-wife is like, they're slippery. Don't drop her.
Oh my goodness. When my youngest son was born, he looked just like a baby gorilla. I took one look at that child and said, it did not come from me.
That ain't mine. Put him back. He ain't done yet.
Doctor, I hadn't delivered the afterbirth yet. And he says, no, he's still on the leash. He's yours, all right.
I love that. Still on a leash. That's beautiful.
I had a good doctor. He was the cutest thing. He looked just like a baby gorilla, probably the cutest baby in the whole nursery. He just didn't look very human.
See?
That's me even now.
And see, that's what you got. That's what got you started in cryptids, right, Naoma?
There you go. That's right.
He's a baby squatch.
Yeah.
Every picture she had of him till he was 8 years old was sideways with his arms out. Slightly out of focus.
Behind the bushes.
That's right. It's like doing that over the shoulder look.
Yeah, he gets so mad at me when I talk about it. He really was a cute baby. I've just never seen anything look so odd. Just
I never grew out of that odd phase, unfortunately, but
yeah.
Yeah, he turned out to be a nice looking young man. He's approaching middle age though, and we'll see. But
I'm at that age where I have to get my ugly sleep because I damn sure ain't getting any prettier.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Well, shall we get back to the actual topic at hand, or
let's?
Okay.
Yeah. So, back in 1955,
Carrie and I were toddlers.
I know better than that. I'm older than both of you.
My daddy had just come back from Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, these folks, 55, shot up all their, like Josh has said. That was a really good point too you made, Josh, about shooting all their hunting ammo up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they're shooting their house up. I mean,
yeah,
honest to God, shooting up their own
walls
house
and windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did these folks ever find any rest? Did it ever happen again? That's what I'm curious about, Naoma. Did this ever happen again?
I don't think it ever happened again, but they never really found rest from it. Not until years later when it sort of became an accepted topic. And actually, the daughter, Lucky's daughter, I don't remember her first name, but her last name is Sutton Stice. She's actually written a couple of books on the topic.
Might have to see if I can find those to add to my collection.
Yeah, and so is Isabel Davis. Any relation to you at all? She was
that's a big set of dogs.
She was a pretty well-known ufologist, and she did the following year. She went out there and she did a really extensive investigation. In fact, she probably has done the most extensive investigation on the entire subject. And she wrote a book about it too, which is supposedly really good, but I didn't buy it. I mean, I didn't buy the book. And there was something I was going to say about no, that wasn't it. Oh, it really wasn't. I can't remember what I was going to say. It had to do with her investigation, but wasn't it.
It's gone like a rainbow fart in the wind.
That's right. Skittles everywhere, just poof. But They actually, and it's kind of comical. I actually have this horrible fascination with really bad movies. And the movie, I think her name was Geraldine Sutton Stith. I want to say that was her first name. They made a movie based on her book, and you can get it on Amazon Prime for free if you want, or maybe it's
I
on
might have to
YouTube
watch
for
that.
free.
I'd
Yeah,
like to see that. I'd like to see that for sure.
it's full of lots of information, but I'm telling you, the guy who plays Lucky, I believe, is his son. So that's kind of cool. Whew, they can't act though. That family has no acting talent whatsoever. That proves to me right there they weren't lying. They'd have been figured out.
I can name a few actors that have been in major productions that can't act.
Yeah, me too.
There's a particular group of people that seem to be the exact same thing in literally every movie they're in. Hell,
Because they
Elvis
only-
couldn't act. They let him sing his dialogue.
Yeah.
That's true. Man,
There never was any sign of the goblins werewolf. It was just somebody at some point referred to them as goblins, and they are still often referred to as the Kentucky goblins. But there was never any evidence. There was no bodies. There was no blood. There was no footprints. They went out into the woods. They couldn't find a landing site. Hang on, Mark. I'll figure it out for you in a second. It was like the family had I believe the name, yes, it is Geraldine Sutton Stith. The book is Alien Legacy, and I believe that's the name of the movie too. But I'm gonna check real quick. And no, I lied. Well, I'll do this. Anyway, talk amongst yourselves.
Coffee clutch.
One of my favorite stories from that area, and it's not the same incident, was the Mantell incident, where the P-51 Mustang crashed after trying to chase down a UFO. I'm really just fascinated by that whole incident, because for us to lose a fighter jet and them to admit it was chasing something it couldn't catch, it was an unidentified flying object, for them to just out and out admit it, that he was chasing a UFO is astonishing, especially from that time frame. And this was not a rookie pilot. He was an experienced combat pilot. And for him to crash a P-51 trying to catch it is just amazing. And to me, that's one of the best bits of evidence of UFOs is that story, because not only did they admit that that's what he was chasing, but for the simple fact that he pursued it to the point that it wrecked his aircraft. Yeah, that he wasn't making up a story about seeing something in the sky. That pilot died trying to catch it. So that, to me, that's the ultimate credibility on that one.
And you know what's even funnier about that, DA? He was one of three pilots that was flying. He's the one that crashed, but there were three pilots flying that day that had reported that incident, and they tried to wave it off, as they typically do when there's something credible. They tried to, the skeptical thing. They said, "Oh, they were chasing Venus," and there was an astrologist that said, "Hey, you know what, man? Sightings of Venus and at that time of day in broad daylight, extremely, extremely rare, especially in this hemisphere." So,
no kidding.
But there were like three pilots that day, and he was one of three guys that were chasing that object, that saucer, that disc. So, pretty crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I mean,
and these are all, like you said, these are all veteran pilots. It wasn't like it was a novice pilot flying the aircraft and chasing this thing, So, yeah, they said when I first started chasing it, they were like, I'm looking at an article right now, about 20 minutes later, they radioed back to base that they were at 20,000 feet. And that's getting close. The operational ceiling for that P-51 was, I think, 31,000, something like that. But they said it was still way over. It was still far above them. It was too high and too fast for them to catch. And you think back then, if they were using P-51Ds with that dual
supercharger,
dual supercharged Merlin V12, that thing at that time was one of the fastest aircraft in the Air Force inventory, speed of 478 miles an hour. And that thing was smoking their butts. So that's pretty intense stuff right there. So just saying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What I know, I'm just a nurse. Hey Richie, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
The name of the movie is The Invasion of Kelly, and you can find it on YouTube.
I just posted the link to the trailer that you sent me. It's in the chat.
Cool, yeah. Check it out. It definitely, I mean, you have to admit it's directed by Geraldine Sutton Stites, so it's definitely got the right people on the project to get the facts straight.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah.
That sounds like right up my alley.
I'll check that out.
Has anybody checked out any of the Alaskan Killer Bigfoot episodes?
Man, I don't have that on my streaming. I might do like you, DA, and just get it for a month or so and then cancel it. So I'm going to have to get that.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch any of it yet. We've been pinching our pennies because of, we even had a fairly lean Christmas this year because of the accident. So it was could have been a lot better. Let me put it in if we hadn't been for that wreck. Okay. If she had insurance, we'd have been fine. But since the onus fell on us, it's been an expensive process. So any comfort zone we had was gone.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll start getting better now that we got a vehicle.
Yeah, I hope so, man. That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a lean Christmas for us too. We told the kids 3 things: want, need, read. Something you want, something you need, something you read. And so, because the last 2 years for us, our training accounts for a large amount of our revenue for the business. And people have not wanted to train because it's been, it's all indoor training. So they've been kind of scared. So right there with you, man. Right there with you. Werewolf said something. I just saw his comment. Werewolf 5674. I know the F-18 pilot from the film. He was a squadron commanding officer. I trust him 100%. That was from the footage that the Navy released. And you know how fast the F-18 goes. It's supersonic. So.
And that was having no trouble evading an F-18.
Oh, no. And going, like we had talked about in one of the past episodes, going at right angles and subjecting that craft to G-forces that would shred, any of us, or was it an unmanned reconnaissance craft? Or they're, if they're conducting ISR, and that's intelligence, surveillance, and recon, that's what ISR means. If they were doing that, that craft could be capable of doing that unmanned, or do they have some sort of sophisticated gravitational mitigation system?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like a full-on gravitic drive?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Who the heck knows, man?
We'll have to jump off of here, guys. So you guys have a Merry Christmas.
You too, man.
You too, brother.
Thank you for jumping on with us.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Josh.
Have a Merry Christmas, Josh.
Got to get up in the morning, try and wrap everything up at the mill for Christmas shutdown. I think I'll play at the drugstore Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yay.
Have fun, luck, man. Be safe, dude.
Yeah, be safe. Merry Christmas, Josh.
Have a good evening.
You too, man.
You too, brother. Merry New Year. Ask Santa for a new headset. Hooter Transport, ask Santa for a new headset. Bless his heart, he was having some serious comms issues, man.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. Yep, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
What you got against Josh?
That was a sincere bless your heart, not a kiss my ass bless your heart.
Yeah, see, I've always said that there are some bless your hearts that are good.
Oh, there's
My
many,
grandma
Depends
used to
on the
say that, and I was
context.
pretty sure she wasn't telling me to kiss her ass.
yeah, many contexts to bless your heart. You can
Yeah.
truly feel bad for somebody and say, "Yeah, you're a dumbass."
I can
Sure.
remember one particular captain that we had at an agency that I used to work for that I won't name. And he told me to do something one time that was utterly asinine. And I said, "No problem, sir," and walked off. And a buddy of mine goes, "Wow, I've never heard 'no problem, sir' actually mean go fuck yourself" for it. Like, well, you heard that, did you? I hope he didn't, because that's what I was thinking.
The English language has many translations.
Absolutely. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, back
Yeah,
in,
back
there
to the
was
Kelly
something I
Green
was
men.
yeah,
Which, ironically, Kelly Green is a shade of green.
true. Yeah. Ironically, they were not green.
Yeah, they were silver.
Yeah,
And farting rainbows.
that's
they were
right.
silver, iridescent even.
Yeah.
Heavens to
Exit stage
Murgatroyd.
left.
Exit stage left.
Heavens, heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yeah, I haven't seen that cartoon in a long time.
The Laugh Olympics. Yeah, and you know, I still wonder. I mean, if these guys, if they hit these things and they were flipping over and hitting the ground ballistically speaking, you would think there would be some sort of physical evidence that if they hit them, I mean, they had to leak unless like they said, the rounds were bouncing off of them, or these guys just couldn't hit a bull in the balls with a bass fiddle. You know, I mean,
That could be true.
Who knows?
Well,
you know?
but if they weren't hitting them, I mean, the aliens were just doing acrobatics for them.
Exactly. I mean, maybe they were bulletproof. They had some sort of force field.
Yeah,
Or maybe
God
that's
knows.
just their way of laughing.
If it's advanced technology,
Yeah.
If they were capable of crossing interstellar distances, I'm sure, primitive firearms probably ain't much of a threat.
Correct.
True.
Yeah. So maybe it was just enough momentum, the kinetic energy from whatever was hitting them to knock them down. Just like if you're wearing armor, if you're wearing hard armor, soft armor, whatever, it's still going to knock you on your ass.
It hurt like
it
a
won't,
bastard.
and hurt, but it won't kill you.
They're alien weebles.
Yeah, exactly.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall
They
down.
won't fall down. Exactly. So, I mean, that's another plausible explanation.
I think they were just laughing, and that was their way of laughing. I don't know. It's interesting, the description that Billy Ray gave of them. He talked about the fact that their heads were almost perfectly round. Their eyes glowed a sort of an amber yellow. And we think of aliens as having the big black eyes and having no nose. And he said it was sort of cone shaped with like a ball on the end. The noses were very different. Everything that, if you look at, and if you bring that up again, there's actually, let me find the other one. There's another one that actually has his
looks like an emoji.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Or from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it's from. That's where I was thinking of that thing from. Huh. Maybe
that's where Disney got the idea.
Yeah, maybe Stitch was an alien. Who the hell knows?
Well, he was in the movie.
I'm just curious. I mean, I'm not doubting their story at all. And like
no,
Mark
I'm
said,
not either.
They were probably using birdshot and 22s, yeah. Which from something like that, that's not gonna deal a great deal of ballistic damage. Especially
deer hunters. And deer hunters and hunting with shotguns, they probably had slugs.
Yeah, or buckshot, at the very least. So
yeah.
What the
this
hell was
that?
Cyrillic.
What happened? Anyway, this is the little man as described by Billy Ray Taylor, drawn by Andrew Buds led with or something like that. Anyway, he was an employee of the radio station when they went down there. And some of the things that this says are, talks about the nose. This is the one that has the antennas that Billy Ray said that there were antennae.
It says them on the mouth. It says upper lip tucked under lower lip. Were the alien Carl from Sling Blades?
We put some mustard on it.
Stop shooting at me with him shotgun.
That's exactly what I just thought, DA. When I saw that, I was like, that sounds like Carl.
He was definitely mad at him for being shot at. That's for darn sure.
I reckon them boys are shooting at us. That we gonna have to kill them. I don't know. Get the sling blade.
Some people calls it a sling blade. I calls it a Kaiser blade, or the other way around. I forgot. Anyway, but another thing that I think was really interesting is even though he said that they floated, he said their feet were like suction cups. And
He's walking across your porch.
and they
on
were
a good freshly waxed linoleum floor. They might get stuck.
Ooh, yeah.
I think I got knocked.
And that is why the aliens changed their uniform, because clearly the suction cup wasn't working for them on Earth.
Here come them damn aliens again, Ethel. Maul, get the shotgun. Oh my God, that's funny. I mean, well, could that have been to hold them in their ship or enable them for other?
So go slinging around at high velocity turns.
Exactly. Or on the house. I mean, if they were on the side of the house and the big old taloned hand reached down to grab somebody, maybe there's like suction cup there on the wall or something. Who knows?
Could have been. That Mark, yes, the rifle was a 22, by the way. I don't know what the gauge of the shotgun was, but it was definitely a 22. And I don't know if they were using birdshot or buckshot or what. I just know that one was a rifle, or one was a shotgun, and the other was a 22 caliber rifle.
Wow.
I had a 22 caliber rifle once. Belgian Browning.
That's cool.
My first rifle was a Steven Savage bolt action 22. That was the Squirrel Slayer 2000 right there.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I used my grandma's rifle, a bolt action Montgomery Ward.
Monkey Ward rifle.
Monkey Ward.
Back when you could order it out of the catalog and it just shipped right to your house.
Yeah, I think it was made by Remington, man. But she taught us how to shoot with 22 shorts, single action, or single shot bolt action.
Cool.
Yeah. Squirrel getter, a critter getter, she called it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I just wonder about that. I mean, you'd think there'd be some sort of ballistic evidence unless they had unless the rounds didn't penetrate their tissue, or they had some sort of, energy.
Yeah, maybe
shield
they were
around them.
Like I think it was Werewolf earlier said, maybe they were made of energy. Maybe they had some sort of force field.
Yeah.
But again, if you're capable of crossing interstellar distances, I'm sure primitive shotguns and rifles ain't much of a threat to you.
Well, and they've probably done their homework too to prepare people, just like we do our homework before we go into any kind of theater of operations, And he brings up another good point. No humans were touched. I mean, they didn't.
Well, one almost was they hadn't yanked him back through the door.
They were reaching down for him,
bowling ball face, and lift him up onto the building.
But I pointed this out earlier, and I want to reiterate: the first aliens that they saw were coming out of the woods like this. I mean, they'd already given up, and still they shot him. They shot him.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm doing Letterkenny here. To be fair, I mean, these boys are from the backwoods of Kentucky, and they see some of these critters coming out of the woods, walking at them. They're like, well, they ain't human, and ain't nothing we've ever seen before. Light them up, boys. You know, so
You ain't wrong.
yeah, you know, so I mean, I'd probably do the same thing. It'd be like shoot first and ask questions later scenario.
Yeah.
So I can't really blame her for that because I mean, hell, we're in a technology age. These guys we're in the golden age of technology. These dudes were in the 50s, you know. So hell, most of the TV show, everything was still in black and white. So they're seeing all this. They're seeing these critters come out of the woods. I think I'd be making them want to get further too.
Plus, their imaginations were being fed by shows like Alfred Hitchcock Presents and Twilight Zone and One Step Beyond.
War of the Worlds, absolutely. Yeah, Orson Welles. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, you got something weird you ain't never seen before coming up and looking in the window of your house. Yeah.
Yeah. Factually accurate. I mean,
I guess we're just lucky they didn't try to cook them, see what they tasted like.
No, that would have been South Louisiana.
That'd have been put in a gumbo pot right off the bat.
That's right. The rainbow farting gumbo.
Tasted just like chicken.
Red beans and whatever the hell that thing is.
What's this oil slick on top of the gumbo? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Just skim it off.
Just skim it off and eat it. It's good. Put it on your rice. Yeah, that's I mean, coming from a family that fried everything, and my mama made gumbo and jambalaya and etouffee and all that kind of all them good Cajun foods. All them good Cajun
love
foods.
etouffee. Yeah. I made jambalaya for my husband a couple of years ago. He's still farting rainbows.
we were talking about.
I just said the other night, I haven't made jambalaya in a while, maybe, and I didn't even get any farther than maybe, and he's like,
we were talking last night. My oldest son came home for Christmas, and we were all sitting in the living room laughing and talking, and somebody mentioned, somehow we got on the topic of religion, which is not normal for us, but somebody mentioned the Holy Trinity. I'm like, you mean onions, green peppers, and garlic? I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, the Holy Trinity of Cajun food. It's onions, green peppers, and garlic.
And it's all about the roux. You gotta have the good roux, yeah. And that's what my
and you need to know the difference between a blonde roux and a dark roux.
That's right. You gotta know that roux, man. You cannot overcook your roux. That's my cousin from Hammond down there. He taught like this, this and that and these and those, and yeah, he's all about the roux. But yeah, it's like Werewolf said. I'd still smoke them, yeah, and then I'd fry them up and throw them in a gumbo pot, something like that. How they taste deep fried? That's what I want to know. How's it taste fried in bacon grease?
That's right. Bacon wrapped, whatever the hell that is.
That's right.
It's on the grill.
Good night. Yeah, I'm going to Susan Parsons' house for Christmas.
Heck yeah.
Well, Susan, I'll bring the cornbread dressing. We don't make stuffing in the South. We make cornbread dressing. And it is sure enough fine.
I make hot water cornbread.
Hot water cornbread.
Troy corrected me. It's onions, bell pepper, and celery. I'm sorry. I thought it was garlic.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you go up north, it's onions, celery,
hillbilly.
and carrots. So
I make my cornbread with 4 ingredients: bacon grease, eggs, cornmeal, and buttermilk. Just the way the Lord intended.
Susan Parsons says, bring it on.
Let's do it.
Northwood says, if I see anything looking in my second floor bedroom window, it's gonna get shot. Well, if it's looking in the second floor window, that implies its feet are probably on the ground. I don't know that I got anything handled big in a creature that big.
It's either really tall or it's levitating.
Either way, I'm in big trouble.
Exactly. And think of it from these people's standpoint. That have been terrifying for them. I mean, because I was just reading the Wikipedia thing on that Naoma, and there were like I think it was like it said 7 kids or something like that.
it depends on the store or the account you read.
Yeah.
Definitely there was Lucky and his wife Vera, Billy Ray and his wife June, and Miss Glennie. I think that there was an O.P. Baker who was, I think, the brother of Lucky's brother's wife. So it was Lucky's brother's brother-in-law and Lucky's brother's wife. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there were definitely 3 kids. And the accounts are all between 11 and 12 people. I don't know if O.P. Baker was a younger person, and so he was counted as a kid in some cases. I don't, and of course we're talking the South, so one of the wives could have been awful young. I don't know. I don't think that when they came rushing into the police station, anybody took the time to count heads. They were just a very hysterical family, and something really bad was happening to them. And so I've heard various accounts. Now, if you look at the Invasion of Kelly, which is based off of Geraldine Sutton Scythe's book, I believe she refers to there being 7 adults and 5 kids.
Yeah,
I suppose she would be the one you'd be most likely to believe,
Yeah, because that's what I'm reading on here, and it said Elmer and Billy Ray claim they have been shooting at 12 to 15 short figures who repeatedly popped up the doorway and peered into the windows.
And then the other thing about that is, and again, depending on which account you read, the number of aliens goes anywhere from 3 to 5 to 12 to 15. And a lot of people say that number actually grew with the legend. Like the first day it was 3 to 5, and by the time it got to California, it was 9 to 12, and then it bounced back to New York. And,
So it turned into an old fish story. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so they went from being goblins to being aliens to being fish.
Gotcha.
And on some accounts, owls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And on some accounts, owls. So it's really hard to pin it down because there are so many different people who've told so many different versions. And I mean, she obviously, Geraldine got it right from the horse's mouth, so to speak, because she got the story from her dad. But she wasn't one of the kids there. That was his younger siblings, that were the kids for sure, or at least 3 of the kids. And but I think one that is also very reliable would be Isabel Davis's book, and she wrote that in conjunction with somebody else, but I don't remember the name of the man that she wrote it with. I absolutely love the cover of that particular book, by the way. It's got the coolest, it's a rendition of the way Billy Ray describes them, with the big ears and the round head and the glowing yellow or amber eyes. But it's looking through a window, and it's really creepy looking. I mean, most of the time you look at those pictures and like, yeah, that's crazy. But no, this isn't crazy. It's really creepy looking. I thought whoever the cover artist on that book was did a really good job. So,
You remember the name of that book?
The Isabel Davis book is that book is called Close Encounters at Kelly and Other, and it got too small for me to read it, and Others of 1955. Isabel Davis and Ted Blocher, it looks like, wrote
Close
the book
Encounters
together.
at Kelly and Others of 1955. Yeah. Ooh, that is a creepy looking freaking
Yeah,
picture on there. I don't know how to put it up on the screen there, DA.
I'll do it. I got it already.
Yeah, that is creepy looking. I'd shoot through the damn window too.
Yeah.
If I saw that looking in, I mean, come on. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you, DA?
Yes, I definitely would have shot at that.
Yeah.
Definitely fire at that.
I would go cyclic and see how many rounds I could get out in as quick as I could. Yeah.
I ain't afraid to dump a magazine into something.
Negative. Not that. I mean, it had to have been, obviously these people were terrified, and it had to have been a terrifying encounter. But I feel, honestly though, I feel bad for them after the fact.
No kidding, especially
Yeah.
everybody stealing stuff from their house and
I mean,
treating them like crap and telling them that they were liars.
their lives were wrecked, and they're like, dude, man, we just wanted to get this stuff out and let people know what was going on in case. And they probably did it one for their own good, but two to what about other people in that area?
Yeah.
And I'd be curious about this. And I know I might be going out on a wild hair here, but I wonder if there were any livestock mutilations, because there were farmers and stuff in that area. Were there anybody reported missing or livestock gone missing or mutilated during that time too? Because you see a close correlation between UFO sightings and that kind
livestock,
of stuff,
cattle mutilations,
livestock, cattle mutilations, things like that happening.
One of the only thing I can tell you about farmers in that area is that neighboring farmers heard the gunshots, but they were afraid to approach the property for fear of getting caught in the crossfire.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I can tell you. Yeah.
Yeah. Reasonable. Yeah. I'd just be curious if they ever had any reports of that, but I mean, hell, it's probably buried by now, dead and gone.
I'm sure,
so to speak. So
and the records from that era were never digitized.
Correct. Yeah.
And the encounter did pop up in the Kelly Blue Book. That's what I was going to say earlier and got distracted. It did, or not the Kelly Blue Book.
For used car values.
Yeah, their car values went down right after that happened.
Yeah.
Mark Napier says, knowing how kids are, can you imagine those poor kids going to school?
Man.
Yeah, it was pretty. I had to have been pretty bad. I'm sure that's why they moved away. It's the Project Blue Book. The encounter does appear in the Project.
Not to be confused with the
files.
Kelly Blue
Book. You gotta forgive me, Kelly Blue Book. Okay.
UFOs versus the resale value of your minivan.
Yeah, Naomi's recovering. Let's give her some grace here.
But crap. Did you see it fly out of my head? It went right out of the middle of my forehead.
I saw a bunch of rainbows come out.
Yeah, no, that's the other end.
The idea coming back.
Yeah.
No, the interesting thing though is that there was never an actual investigation done. They're just mentioned. There's no actual. There's nothing more of the report other than a statement that it happened.
I bet the military did one and then never released it.
Yeah, or as I was going to say, DA, or was there an investigation done and the military came in and said, "You didn't see this.
Yeah, this didn't happen.
Yeah.
This never happened." Yeah, exactly. And and like Mark said about the kids too. I mean, kids are assholes, man. Especially I mean, they're horrible to each other. Those kids were probably ridiculed, and like you said, that's the reason they moved away. So
yeah, even when they tried to exercise a little control over the situation by putting a price on people coming on their property, that just served to that backfired against them in a big way, because that just made them look all the more fraudulent to the people around them.
Yeah. Yeah. Get the price on value on rainbow fart UFOs. You can only get that in the Blue Book, Mark. only in Kelly's Blue Book can you find the price on those rainbow
special
fart
edition.
UFOs.
I'm a car girl. I can't help it.
Is that the SE or the GT package?
I think that's the GT. Maybe even the GTR. I don't know. Woo, we're having too much fun.
Help me, Lord.
Lord.
Oh, shoot.
Well, see, I didn't realize there was that much information out there about this one encounter. I didn't realize it was as widely known. Like you said, it's the second most prominent one. And up until the time y'all had mentioned it the other night, I never had heard about this, and it's the second most known one after the Roswell incident in 47.
I think that Barney and Betty Hill might vie for that spot, but it is considered the second most.
Oh yeah, that's the couple in New Hampshire, isn't it?
That was abducted.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
and they had nothing to gain by coming forward.
No.
Mm-mm. Well, especially in those days. I mean, look at them. They were in those days. They were an interracial couple.
Which was unheard of in those days.
Which was unheard of in those days. I mean, obviously, hell, they didn't want to draw the attention to themselves. And so just like these poor folks in Kentucky, they didn't want to draw the attention. They just wanted to let people know what the heck was going
They
on.
went for the cops to get help, not to be ridiculed.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, then they had to be careful where they went to get help because in some states their marriage was illegal.
Absolutely. 100%.
Not in Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
If they get divorced in Arkansas, they're still legally cousins.
I thought they were still brother and sister. I don't know. Here's my Uncle Daddy.
I'm just dating my sister. That ain't funny.
Oh, Lord.
This is my wife. I call her sis.
Here's my brunkle. Oh, man. I'm glad y'all are enjoying it. We are. We're having a good time.
Yeah, we certainly are.
Yeah.
And we've managed to stay a little bit on subject, which is kind of shocking.
I'd say we've had about 40 minutes.
Yeah, we have moments of clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting subject. I mean, I wonder how many more of these are around the United States from every state, because every state's probably got one of these.
Mm-hmm.
I bet if we looked at the MUFON website and you can check out state by state sightings and encounters. There's some pretty good data out there right now. So
that show we did on UFOs a few weeks back, we talked about a lot of incidents like up in Alaska and those structures off the coast of California.
Yep.
We need to revisit that show and can do another one on UFO sightings and strange things around the world that have been seen, because there's more coming out every day.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, and like you said, you just hit on a good one, man. Just not even just the continental U.S., but Oconus outside the continental U.S. And you could even break it down by UFO sightings in each region of the United States. Midwestern and southeastern and northeastern, and I mean, hell, the Carolinas is a there's a lot of information there. So yeah, and you could definitely break it down and just like the Bigfoot stuff that you and I were talking about the other day offline, DA, you can, I think people might start seeing a pattern, because like we were talking about with the Sasquatch stuff, people missing, Angie was even chiming in on that, which was kind of cool. People missing, Sasquatch sightings, underground cave systems. If you overlay this in triplicate, you see it along the same areas. And I guarantee you'll probably see the same thing. Like you talked about, the coastal stuff with the submerged underwater, or was it? I can't remember the hell.
USOs.
Yeah, USOs.
Unidentified submerged objects.
Yeah, the USOs. I mean, you'll see patterns evolving from the different regions, and those things. 2 and 2. This ain't Common Core math. 2 and 2 does indeed equal 4. It's not going to equal 5. So, yeah, Mark has a good one. Yeah, about better records of UFO reports in the U.S. Yeah, because I mean, maybe they're not trying to cover it up as much. I don't know.
Talking about Bigfoot sightings, there's an article in this week's St. Louis Post-Dispatch about a Bigfoot sighting in Illinois. It says alleged Bigfoot sighting in central Illinois adds to legendary creature's big year.
Hey,
it's a pretty good article.
And that U.S. Forest Service thing that you had posted the other day, I showed that to Angie and our 2 girls. They were at the house the other night hanging out with us, and I showed that to them. They're like, "That's got to be a joke," and I'm like, "No, that's
maybe
that's a legit thing from the U.S. Forest Service." I mean, I've got a zombie thing from the CDC over here on my wall. It says, "Get a kit, make a plan, be prepared." That was a joke.
Yeah,
but this thing is from the U.S. Forest Service. That's pretty legit, man.
And look what the state of Ohio just did. It released that series of videos on surviving a Bigfoot attack. Yes. Ohio was taking it pretty serious.
Yeah.
And when I first started watching that series of videos, I thought they were intended to be a joke, but they're not. Yeah. I mean, it is. They do not treat the subject like it's a joke.
And maybe we should treat this stuff just as seriously. And again, begin to recognize the patterns that evolve from the different sightings. There's got to be a pattern there. It can't just be random. You can't be
Right.
totally rando. I mean, I think it's part of ISR. That's my theory. That's my own personal theory. I'm one person, but I think it's ISR. I think it's intelligence, surveillance, and recon that they're, for whatever reason, they're utilizing from us.
Well, you know, a lot of people have a lot of sightings of UFOs occurred either during, right after, or right before an cryptid encounter. And
Yep.
you know, thus leading to a lot of people having the theory that, you know, aliens may have brought Bigfoot here or whatever.
Yep.
I don't know that I necessarily subscribe to that theory, but that's again my opinion. I'm no expert. I claim to be no expert. My
Right.
opinion's no better or worse than anybody's. You know, if that's your theory, you think that they're brought by aliens, that's just as valid as mine. Me personally, though, if you're what you're talking about, they're coming here gathering intelligence. They're going to study every hominid on the planet, not just us.
100%. And cryptids will be right there with it. And who knows? Maybe that's who they're really interested in. You know, maybe we're just like a secondary study because they want to study these critters because they're. I mean, let's be honest, man. These dudes have and dudettes have really peaked at the art of hide and seek. You know what I mean? It's like the old Bigfoot T-shirts that says, you know,
Hide and
world
seek
hide
champion
and
of the
seek
world.
champion
I've got
of
one
the
of
world.
those.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's true. I mean, if you want to talk about stealth, they're it. The cryptids are it. They don't call them cryptids for another reason.
The forest ninjas, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eric Cameron says, "Hey, DA, there's a podcast called Strange Things with Chris James. He did an episode called Unknown Monsters about 4 weeks ago. He did a great piece on the Ozark Howler you might like. I will definitely be checking that out. Speaking of the Ozark's Howler, I purchased a book on YouTube, on Amazon, and it is called Tales of the Ozark's Howler by Saul Ashton. Cover's a little cheesy, but it's a collection of stories dating back 150 years from here in this area. If you get a chance to pick it up, it's been a great book so far. I've really been enjoying it.
Let me get out my handy dandy notepad here.
It's not a big book. I mean, you can see how thin it is. I mean, it's not huge, but it's.
By the way, Carrie, did you get the email I sent? I wasn't sure if I got it sent
I
to
did.
the right address. Okay.
You sure did. Thank you, Naomi. I appreciate that. I got it this afternoon. I appreciate it. Or whenever you sent it today.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a try.
Yeah, I am too. Thank you so much for that.
That first website is easier to do, but I don't think it's nearly as effective. So I would go for the second one.
Okay. Thank you.
Mark says Bigfoot is literally a super soldier. Very well could be. And Werewolf says, I think caves hold a lot of secrets. I agree. Then you know, when you start talking about caves, and you can't really mention the deep cave systems without talking about possible links to what they call the hollow earth theory. Now, I don't necessarily think that the entire earth is hollow and, you know, it's like its own sun and gravity and everything. I don't really think that's the way it works, but I think there are deep caverns that are very capable of having life in them what we don't know. Because
like a honeycomb?
If you look at the hole that was dug in Russia that went, you know, I can't remember how far down it went. It was the deepest hole ever dug by man. It was like several miles down. That is literally just like scratching the shell of an egg. I mean, the earth is so vastly thick. That was as deep as they could go because it kept the pressure and the heat kept destroying the drill heads. So God knows what's down there. I mean, you know, we could very well be looking at the possibility that Dogman and Bigfoot and maybe other cryptids are subterranean and only come up here to hunt or, you know, to you know, God knows what. I mean, you know, with all the missing 411 cases around cave systems, you know, maybe Long Pig is definitely on the menu. And I'm of that opinion that we are definitely a prey item for some of these creatures, specifically Bigfoot and Dogman.
I agree. I'm good at saying that. I agree. I hate to do this, but I am getting a little punch drunk.
No problem.
When
When
Carrie
Doc
gets back, yeah.
when
I
Doc
think
gets back, we'll start wrapping things up. I mean, it's getting close to Christmas, and my son's in town. Haven't got to spend really much time with him. And he's in the
how's
living
he
room.
like in St. Louis?
He likes it pretty well. I think he misses home. He's been wanting to be around mom and dad quite a bit since he's been back. But he's got a fiance here in town too, so he's the two of them are spend a lot of time together. And eventually, I think they'll if they should get married, they'll probably both wind up in St. Louis because he's got a really good job. But he was missing home, so I'm wanting to spend a little time with him. Doc, we're going to start wrapping things up. Naomi's getting tired, and my son's in town. I want to spend a little time with him.
Awesome, man. Congrats. That's awesome. I'm right there with you. I got to get online and play some video games with my two brothers in Mississippi. So,
speaking of playing video games, on Steam, they have a game called Bigfoot, where you play you can play up to 4 people, and you can form your own little group and your own little lobby. You create your own game.
Little squad.
Yeah, you can create your own little squad, and you go head to head against this freaking killer Bigfoot. And the game is terrifying. I mean, it's just absolutely, and it is very heavily weighted toward the Bigfoot. You guys better be using some damn good tactics if you're going to take out that Bigfoot. Because I played that game solo and I got my ass handed to me. I mean, not even like I had a good showing. I just got brutalized by that. It freaking tore me apart.
I'm have to try that. And hey, side note, man, did you ever hear from John from Combat Swag on those patches?
I have not.
All right. Well, look, here's what I'm going to do. He's got some more coming for me, some different ones. I'm going to send him if I can. I think I've still got the original artwork you sent me. If not, resend the artwork to me.
Okay.
I'll send it to him myself and get that going.
Okay. Awesome.
So
yeah, I want to get those wild hunt patches going because those would be great swag and they'd be great on the website. And I know a lot of people have been asking about them.
Well, I just emailed him today on a proof, and I will get that to him. Okay. And would you like to do like 100 of them, something like that?
I want to know what my price point per unit is.
Sure.
Because I probably won't be able to get them till after the first of the year. We got, like I said, this whole car thing has thrown us in a tizzy.
Well, how about this? How about if Dark Angel Medical contributes and does the wild hunt patches for you?
Dude, that would be freaking awesome, brother. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother.
You don't have to do that, man. I mean,
I know I do that, but I mean, you're my brother, and I want to see this come to fruition because it's such a rad project.
That would be awesome, brother. Thank you so much.
I'll reach out
if you've got the artwork, let me know. If you don't, I'll go ahead and send it to you.
I'll look tomorrow, and I'll email you tomorrow and let you know.
Sorry.
You're right. Bondoc says, so DA, do you watch a lot of the Hallmark Christmas movies? No, not really. I don't. I try to avoid Christmas music and Christmas movies as a general rule. At my chiropractor, when I'm on the TENS machine and I've got to lay there for like 20 minutes with the ice packs and stuff on, they've been playing Christmas music since the day after Thanksgiving, and I'm in there like, somebody kill me,
help me. Yeah, I got an email from Mondoc earlier, or this week. So, good dude. Sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Who'd you interrupt?
I thought I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I'm one of those people who start singing Christmas songs in the middle of October. So by the 1st of December, the last thing I'm going to talk about is Christmas. I didn't even put up a tree yet this year. I haven't. I mean, I literally, this chair is my world right now. I'm 16 to 18 hours a day in this chair working right now.
Wow.
My big thing every year at Christmas is to see what stupid celebrity can come up with the most effed up version of a Christmas song. Every year it gets a little worse. It started with Mariah Carey making my ears bleed, and it gets a little worse every year.
No, I'll just stick with Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
There we go.
That's your favorite Christmas song?
That's my go-to.
Mine's Santa Baby.
What was that Ray Stevens Christmas song?
Oh man,
I cannot remember that.
I saw a picture of that one earlier. Damn it!
Yeah, that was always funny.
And my dad loved Ray Stevens.
Oh,
man.
Ray Stevens is the best. I love him.
He would cackle till his face was red. I used to love watching Ray Stevens videos with him. He was
that song Mississippi Squirrel Revival made me laugh my ass off every night.
And the Alibaba Temple of the Shrine. How'd you get that motor? How'd you get that motorcycle up on the high dive anyway?
Don't answer your phone, Nuddin.
Yeah, Buddin.
And you know what? My favorite song by him is a serious song, though. Mr. Businessman. I love that song.
Yeah.
I mean, all those great, funny songs he's done. My husband and I really want to go to the Ray Stevens Theater here in Nashville sometime.
Yeah, he's like the Weird Al Yankovic of country music.
Yeah. Mark Napier says, "Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. I really enjoyed the show. My wife watched it and thinks we're all crazy." Well, we are. We're all crazy here.
Join the crowd. There
it is.
Santa Claus is watching
Santa
you.
Claus is watching you. He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Go Santa Claus is watching you. He sound like he's drunk when he did it. Go Santa Claus is watching you. Oh my God.
I gotta listen to that. I'll drive the wife.
I do
batty
too.
with that
I do too. I'm gonna have to listen to that after we get off the podcast. That's awesome.
Yeah, but we will. Ba-doo-ba-doo-boop. I love Ray Stevens.
Oh my Lord.
Go Santa Claus is watching
you.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Well,
He's the secret head of the CIA.
Other one. It's me again, Margaret. Are you naked? Yeah, that was another one.
that bit in the Codename Wild Hunt Operation Lily, where Margley makes the comment about preserves. I stole that from Ray Stevens. Coming over to your house with a live chicken, a weed eater, and some peach preserves.
And the video is even funnier if you've ever seen it.
The video's a riot.
Oh my God. Whoo. All right, I got to watch Santa Claus is watching
the
you now.
vapors.
I'm getting the vapors.
But Mississippi Squirrel Revival is still going to be one by that, and the Ballad of the Blue Cyclone Part 1 and 2.
Blue Cyclone. See,
folks, if you have not had the privilege of listening to Ray Stevens,
you taking me back in the Wayback Machine. Yeah,
and invest some time.
If you've never been in a Mississippi church, a Southern Baptist church in the middle of the summer, Mississippi, listening to your daddy preach hellfire and brimstone till you can feel the fires of hell on the soles of your feet.
There is nothing hotter than a hot Sunday in church in the middle of summer.
Man,
7 deacons and the pastor got saved, and $25,000 got raised, and 50 volunteered for missions in the Congo on the spot.
It's hotter than a hooker in a red dress on the front pew. Come on. So, yeah. We are not right.
Mark's right. Yeah, we ain't right.
We have a good time.
That's a fact.
Y'all have a very, very happy Christmas. Oh, and tomorrow it is Festivus, the airing of grievances.
Oh, yes. We cannot forget Festivus.
We can air our grievances.
And we have to have a fight, a physical fight.
Clearly,
prove who the strongest is.
Clearly, you've been to my family reunions.
I'm putting up my poll tonight.
Going to be at least one fist fight.
That's
in fact,
right.
It's considered a dull event if there ain't at least one fist fight.
It's like this thing I saw coming. What'd you bring to the family reunion? It said beef.
A knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, it's a Scots-Irish family reunion. Oh my goodness gracious, man. Whew.
Yeah, Lord. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas. Y'all
Transport says we all got rebaptized whether we needed it or not.
And my daddy baptized me, and I think he held me under the water a little bit longer than I needed till I saw Jesus. I don't know.
I always wanted to hide Alka-Seltzers in my mouth when they ducked me under the water.
Until our church got air conditioning, I needed to be baptized every Sunday.
Well, you know what? In the Greek Orthodox faith, they dunk you 3 times: once for the Father, and once for the Son, once for the Holy Spirit. I mean, and after that, if you ain't baptized, you're going straight to hell. I'm just saying.
It holds you under till the sin stops bubbling to the surface.
That's right.
In our church, it's buried in the likeness of his death.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was
raised in the likeness of his resurrection.
Man.
And it's like, what'd you look at your watch for?
Yeah. Yeah. I think my daddy held me out of the water a little bit too long because of the things I've done.
That does explain a few things.
Well, there was
maybe,
3 days between the two events.
That's true. It seemed like 3 days, Naomi. I'm just saying. I was turning a little bit cyanotic, a little bit.
Yeah.
The pastor realizes there's a problem when you death grip his wrist.
When the bubbles stop coming, it's time to come back up.
Why is he kicking so hard?
My brother was baptizing a young man one time, and he was disabled, and he was a little bit afraid of going into that water to begin with, and they kind of had to walk him in and talk him through it. And, my brother reassured him. He went under, and all you saw was feet and hands.
He's like, this dude's trying to drown me, y'all. I mean,
he said it's like landing a swordfish.
Hey, that lizard brain survival instinct kicks in. You're like, hey, I can't breathe under here. Y'all trying to kill me. Yeah, Mark said, was you trying to tap out or what? That's it. When you see him hitting a preacher's shoulder on the side, he's done. He's ready to come up.
I give.
I need some uncle. I need some air. Yeah, that's a fact, man.
You jump up out of that water saying, Jesus, I'm healed.
Saved.
The preacher's done his job right. That's all I'm saying.
We're going to purge the sin out of you by fire or water. One of the two.
You choose.
You choose.
Burn it out or drown it out.
Oh, man.
Those are your options.
We're terrible.
Yeah.
We are. If we're going to hell, DA, you just bring the suntan mix. I'll bring the suntan lotion. I'll bring the margarita mix.
I'll save you a seat.
Well, I'm going to be in heaven, boys. I'm sorry. That's guaranteed for me. I'm sorry. You just have to be there without me.
What was it Mark Twain said? In heaven, all the interesting people are absent.
I'll be there. I don't think I'm that boring.
Lord have mercy. No, I think we're all good. And thank y'all for having me on again for an awesome show.
Brother.
And God bless y'all. Love y'all, and hope y'all have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I will be going to Mississippi to see family and friends the 26th through the 3rd. So hopefully I'll see y'all next year.
Will you be safe?
Okay.
Drive careful.
I will try to. I will, sir. I will.
Swing by Tennessee and bring me some jambalaya, will you? Or some etouffee. I would really love some good etouffee.
I can make you some crawfish bisque, but I can't make no etouffee.
It's so simple. I just can't make it.
Yeah, my wife does. That's the reason I gained 20 pounds since we've been married.
You should send her to stay with me while you're down there visiting.
Oh Lord. Yeah. We're gonna go see her. We're gonna go see her mom and her dad. Her dad's just coming off a rig job. He's 78 years old and he's still a rig boss on the oil field.
Wow.
That dude is harder than a barrel of woodpecker lips, man. I ain't gonna lie.
That sounds about right description.
Yeah, he's tough.
Well, folks, we are going to start wrapping things up. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We've had a great time. We actually stayed on subject a little bit, maybe about, I'm going to go on a limb and guess about 35% of the show. It's not a personal best, but it's pretty close. It's not a record. We didn't set a record, but we came pretty close. I think our best is about 40.
Yeah.
40, 60. We appreciate you guys being here. We wish you guys the merriest of Christmas and happy of New Year, whatever holiday you're celebrating. We hope that you guys have nothing but happiness and joy in your lives. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys joining us and spending time with us. And, I've said it many times, we don't have fans, we have family, and we have friends, and we are proud to know each and every one of you. And we are so thankful you choose to spend time with us. We have had a wonderful time. Again, I want to wish everybody a happy holidays, safe, happy holidays. If you're traveling, be careful driving. People are nuts.
Amen.
Just be, hope you reach your destination and get back home again safe and sound.
Carry one of those.
Carry med kit.
Yeah.
Because the life you save might be your own.
Absolutely.
Check those out at darkangelmedical.com and use the code cryptid25 for 25% off.
Oh, man. Thank you for that.
And if you ordered the spear kit in the notes, make sure you tell them you want that T-Mode and patch. Where did I put mine? I wanted to show it off. Oh, it's right here. Wrong shelf.
Lovely. I feel so left out. Two of these things belong together. Two of these things are kind of the same. One of these things doesn't belong here.
They almost all like, oh.
I'm so sad. I'm like one of those aliens.
Farting rainbows.
I reckon I didn't get no T-Bone patch, did I?
No. Uh-huh.
The Carl from Sling Blade Aliens. Farting rainbows. Mustard rainbows.
Oh, Lord.
Again, thank you guys for joining us. I know we've deviated greatly from the topic tonight, but we had a good time doing it. And this was really just meant to be a good time show. You know, it's right here, the holiday. There will not be a show this Saturday because it's Christmas and my wife would kill me. Just straight up, what happened to DA? Nobody knows. But their car was seen near a hog farm, but it's totally uncoincidental. Exactly.
Cue the psycho music. Yeah.
Yeah. I always tell her I can run faster scared than she can mad, but I have to come home eventually.
You gotta sleep sometime.
That's a fact. Yeah. So there won't be a show this Saturday, but there will be a week from tonight, next Wednesday. We all will release the topic of the show when we actually have the show up and where you guys can set your reminders. So that should be up in the next few days. Naomi and I will get together and plan the next show. So we'll be getting with y'all shortly. Again, thank you guys for joining us and spending time with us. It has been a hell of a great time. Doc, you be safe going to your family and drive careful.
Sir.
And
thank you, brother.
Naomi, wherever you're going or whatever you're doing this holiday, I hope you're safe. You stay home. And I
staying in this chair. I got work to do.
I wish you guys nothing but the best for the holiday season and the coming year. Let's hope 2022 is a better year for all of us because 2021 kind of sucked.
Yeah, amen.
But again, there's a lot of things coming in the future. I've got more books planned. We'll be doing more shows. The support you guys have shown the channel is greatly appreciated. It's gonna help us to be able to continue to do things like this. And now that I've got the vehicle situation straightened out, I want to be able to go and start filming at locations again. We're gonna try to get some videos up, and we'll do shows based around those videos. So we've got a lot of plans in the future, a lot of things that's gonna come to fruition. And it's with your support and your help and the fact that you join us on the journey, and we very much appreciate it. I've said it many times. Writing is a journey that we take together, and I am so blessed and thankful that you all chose to take it with us. So hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. Everybody be safe. Again, our hearts and prayers are with those who are affected by the tornadoes that tore through the heartland. I know that the death toll is still climbing as they're still finding people, and it's. Yep. And there's a number of places where you can donate directly to help the victims of that storm. I wish I'd have thought in advance of grabbing some of those websites, but if you just Google tornado relief, there you'll find lots of them.
I want to say something about that, and I'm not trying to discourage people, but my husband was there yesterday in Dawson Springs, and the person he was talking to said they actually have almost too much. And the only reason I say that is because how amazing it is, this country, that people came together so quickly. The man said he's never seen so many bottles of water in his life, and they brought in trucks of food in. It's been amazing. And so I'm not trying to discourage anybody from donating. You should donate. But I just want you to know that this is a pretty amazing country.
And yes, it is. Amen. And to piggyback on that, if you can't donate food, you can't donate water, you can't donate money. You got 5 liters of blood in your body. Mm-hmm. Donate a little bit of blood. Donate a unit of blood. 1 unit of blood can save somebody's life. It can literally be the difference between life or death. Go to your blood bank. Go to your mobile blood banks or any blood bank in your area, and donate some blood, and it'll get to the people who need it. Because that is the gift that keeps on giving right there. And this is the giving season. And that's what it's all about. It's about giving somebody the chance at another birthday.
And if you've got a rare blood type, those blood types are hard to find. I've got a rare blood type, and I'm right there. I totally get it. So if you've got a rare blood type, they're desperate need of those blood types.
Amen.
Now I'm glad you pointed that out, Carrie. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no
We
worries,
just got
dude.
a super chat from Hooter Transport. Says Merry Christmas, y'all. Hooter, thank you, brother. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mondoc says maybe the aliens were trying to go to Hopkinsville to eat at Farrell's Snappy Service. Again, thank you guys, and our hearts and prayers are with the people that were affected by those storms, and again, I hope you guys have an amazing holiday, full of family, friends, food, and fellowship, just as the holidays were meant to be. And check out Ray Stevens. You will not regret the decision.
Because Santa Claus is watching you.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
See what I put up with.
Exactly. You poor thing. So mistreated.
I am. No wonder I fart rainbows.
Me and DA are two of the Three Stooges.
That's right. I guess I'm Curly.
I want to be Mo. I want to be Mo.
Hey Mo, wise guy.
Mainly because he outlived the others, but anyway.
Well, folks, again, thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I look forward to seeing you guys on our first show of the new year, and a week from today. So I hope you guys have a great night, a great holiday, and we will see you then. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us tonight on DAX Machina. If you ever have an encounter of your own that you wish to discuss, contact us at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Pull your covers up tight and keep a nightlight burning bright. Oh, and did you forget to lock your doors?